You have died 300. Joel, I'm fine with that. 392. I'm good with that. Surprisingly, this is working. And I will take that. And also, after you see me download stuff, it's because, you know, I get to attempt more. Okay, that's what I love about my jump drop. I could jump over them. Okay, while I'm doing that, I can start doing this. So that one just that's logical. But again, my brain is the most illogical thing that you would never see in the world.
See, I didn't really want to look at that list, but since you asked nicely, I saw it, and it's interesting. First off, Megamind, way too damn low. Way too damn low.
Absolutely.
Thor is where it needs to be, but if you're going to tell me that Megamind is not as good as Thor, then we got a problem. And it is ludicrous. Ludicrous to say that Lego Batman is in the same stratosphere as Thor. This is exactly where it's supposed to be. I have no notes. This, however, is at least top 15. At least.
Yes.
RoboCop's inclusion kind of weirds me out.
I kind
too high.
don't think that's
Doctor Strange is too high. They put it right next to Superman 2. What the fuck? X2 needs a little bit more respect. I will put it at 11 personally. Also, I'm just happy that this is here at all. Infinity War is top 10. You can make an argument for maybe top 5. Homecoming better than Infinity War? Nah, you lost me. Yes.
No.
Just yes. Top 10? I don't know. Top 10? I don't know. This should be top 2, if not 1. I ain't mad at this one.
Yeah.
I'm just so conflicted.
Remember, at one point we've all kicked a pregnant woman. Until we meet again!
So yeah, one, thank you for complimenting, obviously, my gloves and my mask. Thank you. I do love these. These are so good, and my mask is, like, really fun. But, two things. One, the reason why I don't really wear a top hat is because I like putting the hood up, and also, I don't really have a good one. I have one, but not a good one. I kicked my shoes. Which is this. Which overall does actually work as an idea. And maybe I'll add this to it. Because having this sort of like stuff could, but it doesn't actually look that great. And the reason why I don't wear a suit is because overall, I'm not that, my figure's not that great, let's put it that way. So I use baggy clothes a lot of the time to like cover.
Stop it! We meet at last, Doctor. I love saying that. Stop it now! As if a perception filter's gonna work on me. And look, it's the girly and the freak. Laser screwdriver. Who'd have Sonic? And the good thing is, he's not dead for long. I get to kill him again!
Master, just calm down. Just look at what you're doing. Just stop. If you could see yourself.
Oh, do excuse me. A little bit of personal business back in a minute.
So yeah. This is on the same device, and there's two reasons. One, I've got a lot of like weak things, and I'm too lazy to just try and figure out another solution. So I'm catching up a bit every so often, maybe 1 or 2 episodes with Sarah Jane Adventures, because I was reminded of it. And I watched it when it originally came out, but I never made a review out of it because I think I was like so young and I didn't start making anything. So, here. Also, I searched on YouTube because this would be way before I was even on TikTok or that TikTok was in my radar. So, I don't know if it was on YouTube, so I checked YouTube first. So, yeah, this is what I'm reviewing. So, yeah, essentially, what this is Sarah Jane Season 1. And unlike Sarah Jane, because when I watch Sarah Jane and when I watch Doctor Who now, you don't get that sort of feel that Sarah Jane had. It's not the aliens, because some of the aliens, most of the aliens were in sort of like where David Tennant and where, I always forget his name, but the first Doctor showed up, which was Slavine's, if I'm correct, that's season 2 actually. So yeah, season 1 has the Slavines, and some of the other seasons have unique monsters, but it's not one of those things like, this doesn't exist in Doctor Who. The one thing I actually would be interested, besides name dropping the Trickster in, I'm not going to say much about him, but like name dropping the sort of Trickster in the newest season, I don't know if they're going to bring any of the aliens, maybe the Slavine, but I don't know if they're ever going to be used. They're being shoved to the Shadow Realm. That's another thing. But like the one thing I love about my series is Doctor Who has this intensity. It is a sci-fi first, a interesting, shocking thing first. So you get that. But the one thing I want is if they're doing more series like Sarah Jane Adventures, I would want that. Maybe not like with the same cast, maybe like a similar sort of vibe to what Sarah Jane Adventures had. And I find it absolutely interesting. And this spoiler is going to be quite short, but I am going to fully acknowledge there's one that I wasn't usually a fan of, but the whole point is making someone just feel isolated and out of the thing, and it's not as bad as like, I sort of link this somewhat connected to like cringe comedy sort of stuff. Like the whole point of the like 2 episodes is, oh no, I know something that everyone else doesn't, and I'm like, because like they feel like so like out of the group that everyone's like, oh no, this is normal, and then like everyone else like just goes crazy. I'm like, I like the second part because I like the thing with the time travel where she goes into the past and looks into it, but it still is, and I like the ending, how it links into the finale, which, yes, I know the one thing I'm going to bring up in season 2 is the hilarious, where the big thing of season finale, and then season 2. I'll talk about when I get into that. So yeah. I might be doing this sort of like Mondays, because one, it gives me an excuse to like just skip the iPad and skip switching, and then I can just keep my headphones into there and keep sort of stuff. So these will sort of maybe be Mondays. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm seriously just doing this off the fly. But yeah, that gives me 5 seasons. But yeah, this is fun, it's creative, and yeah, it's 100% worth watching, because Sarah Jane Smith Adventures is just one of the most interesting shows from like the Doctor Who Whoniverse, which I know is a thing. I don't know if they're going to like again bring back a similar like show, because like you have Luke, Clyde, and all the others, and yes, I forgot the other 2 names. Shut up, I'm bad with names. And yes, I know there's one other person in season 2. I'm not going to bring up that until that comes. So, but those characters, I don't know if they're going to bring back those characters, because it looks like the new sort of season is bringing back, even in the giggle, name dropping Sarah Jane Smith, who the reason why the show ended was because the actress who plays Sarah Jane Smith passed away just after season sort of like 5 released. But that is one thing that like they've name dropped, like Sarah Jane is dead canonically in the universe, because obviously they're not going to change the character because the actress did it so well. But I don't know if they're going to like bring back Luke or Clyde in like another spin-off, because that would be interesting. Like Luke, like, because it sounds like they're going to do a Torchwood, but like Luke joins. I don't know. That'd be interesting. But I 100% recommend to watch.
This Non-effective fashion arrest. So. Are you kidding me? I don't know why that happened, and I have questions with my computer.
Okay, so my opinions on Peter Pan, which is the animated one. The first one is okay. The fight scenes are really good, and I like the scene flying through London, but I do have to admit, there are scenes in it that have not aged at all. They have aged as well as spoiled milk. But we've all known that, we've all heard that. And I have to admit what other people said about the sequels. Which, besides the fact that you're having, instead the reverse, where sort of like, I always forget names I hate. Sort of like the female protagonist, sort of like the female of Peter Pan's daughter, instead of being like, oh, I want to see the childhood, it becomes like, oh, it's more dark. And that's fair. It's taking place during, if I'm correct, the Second World War. So there is a reason for the bleakness. But I didn't find the sequel. I found this and I just wanted to, Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Not sure. Oh, I didn't do it fast enough. That's what I was doing. Okay. So yeah, I've seen a lot of like people being like, I don't know who's behind me. Who's behind me? Is anyone? Oh no, that's just the player. I don't know why this just looks so insane. Yeah, I don't know why. This is just fun.
Happy Monday.
Happy? Who's happy? Do I look happy to you? Nobody's happy today. Don't be ridiculous. Mess.
So today I'm reviewing How to Love Your Elf Bride, and that will be what I'm reviewing. So, I like this. I know it's a bit odd. I do admit it's really odd. But the characters I like, the stories I like, and overall the action I find pretty decent. I also like the sort of like facial expressions, and sometimes you get like stuff about like inner monologues of other characters, which I feel like, this is just in general, inner monologues are so dissed so badly, like, oh, you should never do it, it's a horrible thing to do. It's like, no it isn't. Shocker, when you have characters having inner monologues helps them speak. I don't mean like verbatim. Doing like stuff where it's like emotional stuff. Like that I think is useful. Whereas like, or write in a way that they would put that as the thing. Whereas like, I think this is happening, or I think this. Don't do facts. Don't do this happened and then this happened. And if you do, add an opinion on it. And then you can like use in a monologue in like a creative way. Like something dramatic happens and it's like, you can either do a shocked surprise or like, I like that. I fully admit, it's not an anime, just regular shows where it's like they don't have it and I don't know why. The only sort of like spoilery thing that I would know, and I think is actually interesting, is during this, I don't know if it was a movie? Yes, it's a movie. I don't know why, it just looked like it was a movie. During this, a lot of the time, you have, and besides a couple of people, a lot of like the main, like, and this person that are quote unquote bad, are either like not really turned into not really a threat, or they're just not, and it's missing communication, which is both hilarious in that it completely it here's this big kneecap to the front, or you get like a, no, just saying hi. You said you hit my head with an axe. No, just saying hi. That's not what it means. Which is absolute. Obviously, those are extremes, but it's like really hilarious. Where like the source of the conflict is 10 times immediately gone, but it's so nice and it's so good. So this is a weird show, and the reason why I'm putting this in this section, and is because is that I can build up to this. After the last moment, I am waiting a couple of seconds because trigger warning. I don't know if it's one thing, but I want to play it safe. I don't do like this has slaves, and the one thing which I'm like, there's a lot of shows where it's like, and then they have a servant slave pack, and it's like, but this person is outright like went to an auction. It's like, I'm gonna buy this. And I can see for what it is magic and it's stupid. Because this, but it's still so weird for like with shows like One Piece. I get it. It's the idea of that is the villains doing it. And you don't need to justify in your head because in universe, it's stupid and it's dumb. So you don't need to justify it. But with this, I'm like, okay. And then at the beginning, it's like, I'm free, you're free, you can go into the world and you can have peace and like you are no longer captured. But it's like, oh no, put it back on me. What? I may be misreading it, but I just find it absolutely it's like, put this collar back on my neck. I know there's probably meaning behind it, just absolutely confusing. But yeah, it's still fun to watch. And still insane. So yeah. I know it's just a weird thing. I just a small boy. I'm like, I just need to put it in there. If you're not a fan of just some animes doing that, it happens in this, so yeah.
You can't kill me! Heroes have moral codes! Who said I was a hero?
Yo!
Hello, sweetie.
What are you doing here? How did you find me?
Someone told me you needed my help.
It wasn't me, was it?
It was the other woman. What seems to be the problem this time?
Oh, nothing much. Stuck under the Bank of England while a time storm tears the universe to pieces. Just the usual Tuesday.
I love it when you're mystified.
I'm not mystified. I'm intrigued. Totally different.
Of course it is.
What would Jesus do? I don't know. Well, I wasn't...
Master Fu, here comes the ultimate beatdown! I want my money back for those karate lessons!
Unlikely things to hear in a restaurant.
Rose for the lady. If you want to do something for the lady, why don't you f*** off?
That was probably, yeah, the closest I've got, and I hate it.
Hello and welcome to The Chase. Can a team of 4 beat one of Britain's finest quiz brains and take home thousands of pounds? Are you kidding? Look at the state of them. They've got no chance whatsoever.
I have no on this day. On this day is not here. It's gone forever. No more. You can never see it ever again. Tragic, I know. So yeah, today I'll be reviewing Tad Veloster Empire and the Emerald Tablet. So yeah, that's what I'll be reviewing. So yeah, I like this as sort of like a fun, because I'm a fan of like just like fun stories. Just you have the instinct, you don't know like, oh, here's where it's gonna end. It's gonna end peacefully. But I was like, oh, it's gonna end fairly positively, very like upbeat, not like, and then death, which is fine, because like sometimes I don't want like think about hard topics. Sometimes I just want a nice movie, and it is a nice movie. It's a fun movie. Just sit down, watch, and that's not an insult. That is a fact, not fact, but that's more my opinion on it. It's just, you want to watch a fun movie? Watch a fun movie. That's not an insult. It's just nice. It's relaxing. The characters are amazing. They have good interactions. And it's just overall just really interesting as a movie. So yeah. The one spoilers, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is essentially the end. The one thing I love is there's one small caveat of it just being simple. It doesn't change as much as the last one. I'm not going to be like, and then it was complicated. No, but the one thing which I kind of caught me off guard, because I kind of didn't see it coming, was like, and then here's a fake ending. It's like, no. Because it's like, oh, sacrifice. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I thought it was going to be like one of those things where it's like, oh no, he's sacrificed, but if we remember him, he will come back. And it's like, oh, I'm fine. So I didn't thought it was going to be like permanent. I didn't thought like he's going to die and he's going to be gone forever. But the one thing I was caught surprised with and kind of really interested in was you have that death, and I was like, don't you want this? Here's everything you want. And I was like, okay, now that's how they're going to undo this. None of that was real. And I was like, well, that caught me off guard. It was like big, shocking. It was like, didn't expect them to do that. I like it. It's fun. I like movies that like, you look simple, and then it's like, at the last second, got ya. Again, it's not groundbreaking, but it's just really interesting that it's like, because again, it's like a trope, where it's like, and this is everything you want, right? Everything you want. All you just need to do is walk away. And it's like, no, but friendship. But I like it. It's fun. So yeah, this is a fun movie, really entertaining, with nice characters. Also, by this being like Tad, the Lost Empire, and the Emerald Tablet, it sounds like I watched the sequel and forgot to watch the first one. Or I'm an idiot. Is it? I don't know. Because this is a Netflix original, so it might have not been on Netflix. So I don't know. This was fun anyway. Yeah.
I've seen enough.
In this reality, the Doctor and his family live tiny lives. They are made happy by acts of irrelevance. You are on record as claiming, but for some people, small, beautiful events are what life is all about. You would destroy that, Doctor, for your victory.
The Cyber Reaper. All these years, I've thought you had one purpose. To destroy the enemies of the Cybermen. But that's not quite it. Your one mission is to find those enemies.
And nullify their threat.
And you've done it. I can't make this choice. So you've got to. You're the Doctor now.
Let's see if I can sell. Nope, never mind. I don't think I can win the mission
I have a question for people from the UK. So if you're not from the UK, you can piss off, or you could stay. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Do you guys pay before you pump gas? Or petrol? Do you pay before you pump it? I was watching a British show, and the people pulled up to the pump, and they just pulled it out, put it in the car, and started pumping without paying. Like in America, you have to pay for it before you pump it. I'm confused. Somebody just let me know, because you can't do that here in America. I've never seen it before in my life. You're telling me it's rare to find pay at the pump option at most gas stations in the UK? Really? I mean, do you swipe your card before or after? I don't know. I feel like all the gas would get stolen. Like people would pull up and just fill up the car and then fucking leave if you didn't have to pay before you pump this shit. Weird. Somebody let me know, please.
Shouldn't be using time because of that.
And that's why the bread is usually stale. Jonathan, are you with me? This is all going to be on the quiz next week, so I hope you're writing this. Jonathan, who do you have? Is that Ethan? Jonathan? Drop him. Drop him. Jonathan! Thank you. What do we say, class, when we're hungry and bored? Do not eat each other. That's right. That's right.
Okay, that didn't work. Actually, no, I forgot to do it. Welcome. I'm doing review. I accidentally dropped it for almost a day and done one already because I was uploading something else. So, hi, I hope you enjoyed and I hope you like
To the thick of it. Ugh. Into the thick of it. Oh. We can be through the bush.
So, I didn't know it had two titles. I thought it was like had the Emerald Tablet. I didn't know about the other title. So when I was reading it, I was eyeballing it. And because sometimes I can get confused. And I don't know how it is because you are right. I somehow read Explorer as Empire. You figure out how many different letters that is. Besides having an E and a P and adding an ER, I'm pretty sure these two words could be nowhere near each other. So, it is insane and crazy, but I have no idea how, but it is so weird, but yeah. So yeah, right here. That's sort of a good way to describe. Obviously, I've said this on the live, but not on here. I don't drive, and I've said this before on other things. But to be fair, I have seen and been with people who are bought fuel. They drive up, they put the fuel in. And yeah, I do know there are contactless nowadays, which is a thing. I find that like really impressive when I go to those things. I was like, oh, you can do it here. No social interaction needed. Yes. I sound such an introvert when I say that. No interaction needed. But yeah, there's also another one that also explain that in a bit more details. There you go. So yeah, there's more detail on how the UK does it. So yeah. So I'm going to be completely honest. I'm reviewing this because I know that I'm gonna mess up a word. So this. So yeah, I like this because this is so sort of like crazy, so fun. That yes, there's one father's link, but they acknowledge that like it's meant to be like overbearing, and it's not like that. And it's not like, oh, I'm in here for like a bad reason. It's like, oh no, I want out. But besides that, most of it's like fun and insane, and it embraces that like, because like a lot of like animes that have this is like, like this is dramatic. A lot of it is just joke. I know this is not that far off. This style of like, here's the one person who's like 10 times powerful than everyone else, and they don't want to like take power, and it's like really fun. So yeah, I absolutely think this is so fun. But yeah, I don't know why I keep saying but that sounds more fun, so who cares? The one thing I like is sort of like because this is sort of split into sort of like a couple of smaller things that happen, and then the last sort of thing. The last sort of main battle that happens over a couple of episodes. And the reason why I like it is because at first, what happens at the end where it's like, oh look, he's gonna get, I mean it's like, wait, because you have a question of like, and this is for the very end, so 3, 2, 1, and I'm gonna say it now. When he tries to leave the body, it's like, I'm gonna leave this body of dead, and I am going to leave. All of a sudden, but he's by keeping him in. I'm like, wait a second, is he in there? Is there like a little bit of like his original personality still there? It is so good, that moment. The rest is just like fun, but that's more like 10 seconds alongside his part where he sort of dies, but I don't know if he isn't dead or if that was just like a lingering sort of like emotions in his head. It's really good, really fun, and absolutely 100% worth watching. So yeah, so in conclusion, this is insane, this is awesome, go and watch. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, and I need to keep doing this because I like doing this, and I need to do an outro and an intro. Good night. So yeah, I'm just doing it because like, and now here's another way to fuel up the car from Australia. So yeah, thank you for this fun fact. So yeah, thank you. This is really interesting. That's the only reason, but yeah, that's really interesting. Thank you.
Yep. Jump. 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 Okay. I beeped up because apparently I did the same thing that yesterday, but it's 10 times worse. Unless it glitched out. Yeah. Nope. I started recording. Valid points, but it's like with the UK system, you can still run. I'm not denying that someone's done that. I'm not even denying that. Like, I would even put money that someone's at least attempted that. But I'm pretty sure also the reason why like a lot of people don't. I'm pretty sure there's probably like a thing about it or like a way to track it. I want land, because I feel like that's the hardest one. Because I've got planes, and actually can get my own planes. So I don't think that matters.
Oh, Velvet, I can see you're busy. Tell me, where's our hot-headed friend now?
Up in his tower, waiting for a flat-faced prince to calm him down.
And, what's got him so out of sorts today?
Who knows? But he tore up my best model. And you know the show can't wait for that unlucky bitch to pull herself back together. Melissa, get over here!
Rice bread from World War I. This recipe happens to be gluten-free, as if 1918 wasn't miserable enough. We begin with a half cup of white rice. Water! The rice is resigned to be overcooked. Why you gotta say it like that? It sounds like a court order. I hereby sentence you to be overcooked. Ha! Cup and a half of cornmeal. 2 tablespoons of margarine. Then 1.5 cups of milk. Scalded. You useless! Do you mean scalded with an A? He's like, nah, fam, that ain't no typo. I want you to yell at your milk. Well, the rice resigned, all right. It is no longer with us. 1 cup exactly. 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Is this bread going to space? Bake for a half hour in a hot oven. Yes, I know it's hot. You get it's an oven. 400 it is. Hello. Like a really smooth, fluffy cornbread. The rice does more than you think. Thank you.
Welcome to the boop zone, population you. Gonna poke the nozzle, what you gonna do? Boop.
And what do we say when somebody says, hey, let's be friends? Ha! Okay, but just so you know, I'm freaking weird. I'm weird all day, every day, whether I like it or not. Okay, I wouldn't start with that.
So here's another review. I don't know why before I recorded this, one of my thoughts were I am picking the worst shows to watch because I know one of the shows I sometimes watch is Food Wars. I pick sometimes the worst shows to watch when I'm trying to not eat stuff, and I watch a show called Is It Cake? I also came out with Imagine a Superpower who can never mind, I'll talk about that on another thing. But one of the things about this series I like is I like the way that it's formatted as it slowly builds intensity. I know, again, this is a game show, this is sort of like the idea, but I just love the fun idea of like, is this the sort of thing that moves left or right? I'm just going to put my hand next to it. Is this that? As it rocks back and forth on an object? Or is it cake? Obviously it's not cake, I'm not that type. I'm not even a show, I can't do that. I'm not that stuff. I just like that fun idea of like, why don't we just go wild? Why don't we just go, beat it, let's just make something crazy. And I like how it's introduced of like, it's not like, we're going to judge as traditional talents. It's, here's 3 cake judges, decide which, here's 3 object, one of them's cake, decide. 20 seconds, don't. And it's like, which one? And it's like, that's fun. And at home, I'm secretly being like, I think this is number two. I think it's cakey. I don't know why. I just think it's cakey. If anyone's asking if I got any one of them correct, no. like Mars Singer, I'm bad at guessing the right answer for anything. I think I might have got it once. I don't think so. Yeah, but again, I just love the idea of like sort of cake and yeah. The one thing which I am going to comment on, there's one person in here about like, yeah, and they left, now it's sad. But the second person who I wanted to win, which, yes, was the British person. Don't get my head a bit being like, yeah, I support the British person in this series. The British person won. besides being terrible and having kind of one of the world's unhealthiest food besides America, and we don't usually win major events. Footballs we mostly lose, and so with most sports. But yeah, I just thought it was like fun, interesting, and amazing. So yeah. Yeah. Go and watch it. It was absolutely fun and absolutely interesting. Yeah.
Up, down. Okay, then up. Will it be down or will it just be random? Okay, down. Welcome. I'm testing a couple of things, hence why I've got this. Something else isn't working. Which it should be, unless it's not here. Or it's too low. Does that work?
So yeah, today, Konosuba, God Blessing on This World, is the series season 3, more specifically, is what I'm reviewing. So yeah. There's more and more stuff I don't like the show, but that's anime being anime. But what I do like, I love this show, is what happens if you get a bunch of people who are terrible and not good at their jobs. Because like a lot of them are like, great. Like, no, sure, I would want to work with these people. I just find it funny because the whole point is just for people who don't get along. It's, and I'm going to say this, sort of like have that sitcom energy of like 4 people who don't really get along and fully insult each other on a regular basis. Not fully sitcom. There is good things about this, kind of. But it is fully that energy of like, yeah, here's 4 people, they get along, kinda. They're friends, kinda. And yes, there's a couple of episodes where I'm like, please, can this not be a thing? But sure, there's one episode where I'll bring up later, probably the only thing in spoiler things that I kind of say, actually no, 2 things, that I will acknowledge, but I like it, it's fun, it's adventurous, and it's absolutely hilarious. So, with the spoilers, the only thing that I have is one, yes, because they bring these ideas of these legendary items. People bring things to this world and they become legendary, magical, and mystical. And I like that as the idea. This has happened before. I don't know what to tell you, but like stuff we just leave it around after they die. I was like, it's interesting as an idea. But the one episode that brings up like the forefront is like, oh yeah, 2 people swap minds, and it's, I think she's like 16 or younger than 16, baby boy, her age isn't point there, and then you have this guy who, if I'm correct, is an adult, and it's like, oh, we're gonna swap bodies. And the one thing was, like, I would have been fine if it's with sort of like any sort of like, but because they put it on like it's, and then he takes advantage of the situation, because he fully does. That's what I don't like. If it questions this, if it questions how like absolutely horrifying this concept is, then I'm fine with it. Even if it doesn't in a horrifying way, like they're both I'm sounding like an idiot, but it's done very stupidly, and I don't like it. Also, I don't like the concept where I was like, I'm gonna buy you one. I know it has more meaning. So it's like, yeah, if you have problems and we need to pay a debt, tell us. But the way he says it's like, I'm gonna buy you, is like, yeah, I know I'm bad with language as anyone else, but like, I feel like there's a lot of better ways to describe that. But yeah. So yeah, I absolutely think this is fun watching. Yes, there's some things I'm like, have complicated, but it is fun. It is interesting. And yeah, it's a nice conclusion to the story. So yeah. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you liked this video. So yeah. Good night.
Because you anything besides, you know what, the snakes. I'm fine with the snakes. You know what, I'm fine with this. I did 2, 0 parries, and like... My plan is now... Got these things. Let's get some food. Oh, that's fun. One of my mistakes is a review. That's hilarious. Is this cake review? Is this a review?
So yeah, today I'll be reviewing, I know I'll butcher this, so today I'll be reviewing this series here, season 2. So yeah. So yeah, like the first season, I like it. It has that sort of like relaxed, fun nature. It's really nice, it's really chill, and I just love how you get these moments with each individual sort of part of the group. I don't know, I just like that. I just find it like fun and nice. I like a lot of the characters and I like the sort of like ideas, which is like historical changes and like they are like banded with like swords and like it's really fun. I'm pretty sure this is part of the marketing, where the whole thing is swords have souls, and you're dealing with like swords that are from old-fashioned times that are now turning into humans, which I absolutely love as an idea. I absolutely love this thing. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. But now, okay, so the one thing which I like is with season 1. They left it with being like, oh, after you've gone for a while, which I thought like, oh, he was sleeping. He was just sleeping for a bit. He was just after the last battle in season 1. He just got knocked out a bit, and he just was like, oh, you've been away for a while. But no, he just left. Season 2 takes place during the in between, like, after the final battle and after they go back to the present day. But before we're like, oh, and here's the new picture. Everyone's taken. So I just love that they reintroduce those moments, like, oh, here's this, because and then it's like, here's a picture. It's like, oh yeah, that's good. Maybe one more picture. It's like, hey, forget about us. Oh yeah, you guys. Yeah, the masters said they wanted to talk about the swords because for some reason we couldn't be in the original photo. Maybe because the models didn't, maybe because the characters didn't exist back then. I don't know, I just find that, it's like, you could have gone around this whole thing by not having season 2 take place before the end of season 1, but after most of season 1. I just find that, I don't know if there's a reason, there might be a reason. I will be absolutely sure there's a reason, but I like it. I also love a lot of the designs. I've said before, I like it. That you see a lot of differences. Like one of them, which was the Father of Swords, has this sort of like, which was a thing, like, I don't know what it's called, but like has this more like, I'm not gonna call it makeup, but it's like that sort of stuff on his face. Because I think like back then it was a thing, I'm not 100% sure. If you know Japanese history, jump in if you also know the anime and tell me like what it is exactly, because I'm not 100% sure. I would love to know. But it's so good. So yeah, I absolutely love this. It is so good. It is so hilarious. And is this series alongside the other ones, and I'm saying this here because it's not really spoilers, besides the finale part and a couple of like one-off moments, is just like, we need a lot of people in the hearts for changing history. But first, we need to see what we need to cook the master, because he's currently sick at the moment, and I don't need to get ill, and I need to make this whole thing a musical number. Like, I love that the fact that you can have this majority, like, fun, lighthearted, and when you do get serious moments, it's so good and so hilarious. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Good night.
Trying the Lego filter.
So no, because I do actually like it. I do like the series, and it's really interesting. I do like the things. Do I word my things poorly? Yes, because I have no script at all, and you can tell. But yeah, I just like it. It's really fun. It's really interesting, and I do find it just really entertaining. So I absolutely love that series. And yes, there is drama moments where you get the thing between like the two siblings, and you have those moments. But the one thing I like is you get these other characters having nice, sweet moments. And I do find it funny about like season 2 is like, oh yeah, all of season 1's, all of the characters that got introduced in season 1 isn't in the first picture because the master called them. I just find that funny.
Yes, I get it. It's a burden for me to look this good.
If you see this, you're my best friend. That's not pretend. No, you've got me until the end. Thanks for everything. It's cringe, but it is true.
Good evening. The person sending you this video wants you to know one thing. You're worth more than chicken nuggets. Now let that sink in. This person is saying that you're worth more to them than food. That's a lot.
Edit is on the 12th, so this is on the... Here's not enough coins. I want to get Smoke Dash, and if I get Smoke Dash, I can then get I can then get, you know, oh, okay, that's good. So yeah, Sarah Jane, season 2, yeah. So, like I said before, Sarah Jane Adventures, I like. Not because of just the story, just because of how it feels. I like the idea of like, well, you just get these 3 people. And the one thing I also like is, and you don't get that too often, you get it sometimes but you don't get it too often, and I like it, is it has that sort of like, every 2 episodes is a 2-parter. And I like it, because you get to be like, here's a 2-parter, we're going to deal with this small threat. Sort of dealing with an episodic nature, but having, like, how long is each episode again? Each episode is 28 minutes. And because they're 2-parters, it's, I think, 20 plus 20 is 40, 8 plus 8, 16, 56 minutes on each story. Because it's a 2-part. And, again, I could have mentioned this in part 1. Anyway, but that I like. I like it. It's so good. And so great. I absolutely think this is amazing. So yeah. The 2 things that I like. There's 3 groups of 2-parters I like. And yes. That is one of them. But let's go to the first one. It's not that I like it, but the one that I just love and I find it just hilarious to mention. I just need to get the name up. The Last Sultaran, I think, is really interesting because, like, they spent the whole last bit of season 1 being like, no, we can't leave. We should stay with Sarah Jane Adventures. Never mind, we have a job in America. Okay, and now, gone. It does lead to an amazing episode. Again, looking forward, because I said the same thing. I sort of hinted towards it being interesting in comparison to something in the first episode. Now I'm talking about this. But one of my favorite sort of two-parters is in season 3, out of this whole series. So we'll talk about that when we talk about season 3. But one of the things I do like is the clown, Day of the Clown. And I like it, which is also hinted again in season 3, which is another part I like. There's a lot of like parts I like in specific seasons. The Day of the Clown, actually no, Lost Autonomy I just like because it just retcons season 1. Not retcons, but like it just writes out the one character that was kind of important, which is hilarious. But Day of the Clown has that fear. And am I scared? No. But if you put me in a room with a clown, I would like to leave. I'm not going to be like, but it's going to be like, please stop. What? Why? So yeah. And the one thing I like is that in The Enemy of the Bane, even though part 1 flat out spoils the whole thing about like one person coming back, so that's probably not a good thing, but it's on BBC Family looking at the one. But I love the idea of like, here's the first enemy, and then he's back. Because you didn't expect it. And you also see, because technically it's part of season 1. I know nowadays it's in the special of like, the invasion of the Bane. But it was in season 1 originally. So I'm going to count it as that. Because that's how it was sort of planned. Which is different to the specials. Because the specials were planned to be the specials. And on Disney Plus, they are kind of considered their own thing. Even though the Christmas... Actually, no. The 3 specials of the Meep, the Giggle... No, the Meep... Actually, no. The 3 specials, you know what they are. I just forgot the names because I'm a dumbass. Are all there and are really good. So, yeah. So that's good to happen. And anyway, but yeah, I like it because it brings back them, and you also bring back the Bane from again season 1, and I like that sort of idea of like bringing back other characters. I think besides mentioning like, oh, this person, they don't bring back anyone else besides the main lot. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I absolutely find it fascinating. It's fun, it's interesting, and exciting. So yeah, that's my sort of yeah, I just love it. I think it's a really good series with really good characters, and it's just really great. So yeah.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. Can you tell me where I am? I don't know how I got here, but I think I'm starting to understand. I don't belong among the angels, and maybe that's just fine with me.
On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
Who's the one guy you would sleep with?
John Stamos.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
I have to beat. So Jimmy's not the one that I need to beat, because I need to get more coins, which is either through here, because you can see the little diamond there, and I think there's only, that's not that one. There it is, the list. Well, 2. Yeah, there's only 2. So, I haven't had the, I'm going to play the boards. I'm going to go to, Baroness Bond.
Oh, what did I say about touch if you don't touch me?
I'm not touching you.
I see your finger right there!
I'm not touching you.
Mom, can I kill her?
Alright, they can't see that. So
My tummy hurts. And I'm mad at the government.
What do you think, Wackus Bonkus? Kill him. Who? You naughty Wackus.
I got called pretty today. Well, the exact words were "you're pretty annoying," but I like to focus on the positives.
These are Riley's memories, and they're mostly happy, you'll notice, not to brag. But the really important ones are over here. I don't want to get too technical, but these are called core memories. Each one came from a super important time in Riley's life, and each core memory powers a different aspect of Riley's personality.
So yeah, My Hero Academia, World's Heroes Mission. That is what I'll be reviewing today. So yeah. Besides one thing, which isn't a spoiler, but it is just one thing. When I first started watching this, I'm not going to say when I figured out, because I think right about like roundabout when you have them going to specific sections. I'm not going to say any more than that. But I didn't know. I was like, when does this take place? And then I'm like, oh wait, no, then it takes place. Which is, I am going to say it because I think that would be probably the market. Where does this take part in the timeline? Because currently, this got released on Netflix, and currently we're on season 6, which this doesn't take place. This takes place sort of during what season 5 would be, and like the sort of like hero work courses where you get like the 3 main ones working with the top one as that sort of thing. That's sort of roughly when this takes place. But besides the point, this is awesome. The action is cool. This guy's powers is one of the most insane. And when I saw him, I'm like, oh, what would this power be? And yeah, I also love a lot of the characters and a lot of the questions. Not like because like I agree with it, but I just love the idea of like this type of antagonist compared to what we usually have, which means. So I love the idea with this villain. He is awesome. He is creative, and I just find it absolutely insane how like really interesting this guy is as a villain. The idea of like this person being this this person being the opposite of, you know, because the last thing, couple of villains you've had is either wanting some sort of power, or because I forgot the one in the other movie, because I know there was another movie where it takes place in the like sort of like fun thing, and it takes place with his thing. But I love the idea that this villain, because you get the main 2 villains, which is dealing with the League of Villains, and they're like quirks or everything, and then you have the other ones which are just playing sides. And this guy's the opposite of the main villain, where it's like, no, let's get rid of quirks, let's destroy them, because you've been talking about Doomsday Theory. Doomsday Theory is sort of, and I don't know if it's going to play a bigger role soon, maybe, because like they keep bringing up Doomsday Theory, and this movie's all about Doomsday Theory. So I feel like that may play a bigger part in like the series, and like they might bring up the idea of like the Doomsday Theory might not be completely correct, but have some merits to it. I don't know. But overall, I definitely think this is absolutely really interesting. So yeah, I absolutely 100% recommend to watch this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and good night.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. I said, excuse me. What? You're actually not allowed to spray the sprays? See, there could be people with asthma, and well, then how am I meant to know what they smell like?
Read.
What? If I don't spray them, How do I know what they smell like? Well, it says on the can there, see, look, that one smells like strawberries. You know what strawberries smell like, don't you? Well, I need to spray it to know if I like it or not. Right, okay, let's just take a second to apply that logic to other things we sell in the shop, shall we? What do you mean? Would you let someone take a drink off the shelf, take a sip to see if they like it, and then put it back? Well, no, but would you let someone brush their teeth with one of the toothpaste, only to decide they don't like it, and then put that back too? Of course not, but and what about the toilet paper? Would you let a customer take a massive Okay, you made your point. I'll stop spraying them. Attaboy.
What do you mean, Sasha? I'm being completely serious. I'm just saying things in a bad way because I like to say things really weirdly. I love the series. I love it. Yeah, deep. You know what? It's not as hard as I think. I'm just bad.
You're going to realize it one day. That happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. Happiness was never about following in the footsteps of all of those who came before you. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see it. That happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. One day you will understand that happiness was always about learning how to live with yourself, that your happiness was never in the hands of others. One day you will realize that true happiness comes from within, and no external factors can define it. It was always about you. It was always about you.
Well, people are dying and no one's fucking caring. I am concerned, but I believe that this is possible.
So yeah, thank you for this information. This is one of the most, like, ravioli was like, I was like, what? Because sometimes there's certain words that, like, I hear them, because, and I'm like, I forget what they...
You can't tell anyone about this, okay? It could ruin my whole reputation.
Ah, we wouldn't want that.
Well, a fake reputation is all a man has.
Well, what are you gonna do? Life's a bitch and then you die, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes life's a bitch and then you keep living.
Yeah?
But it's a nice night, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, I am, reviewing Imaginary. So yeah, that'll be what I'll be reviewing today. So I'm gonna say, because it's fitting, this film is very imaginative. I know it's not the exact word. I can say it's very imaginary, but that just sounds odd. But besides the point, I just like how it works with the idea of imagination, because that's the whole thing. It's so creative and so beautiful in that way, and sometimes so horrifying, because there's one moment with the villain, I'm like, that looks creepy. I'm not going to say what until later, but it just looks like, what is that? What is that? And I absolutely love it. It is so good and absolutely so creative. So one thing that I absolutely think is so good about this is that this whole thing is with imaginary friends. So you're dealing with this sort of like whimsical fantasy. Not in the way of like, none of this is real, this is all fake. But the fact that they play around with what's real and fake is really fun. And that idea is really interesting. And the fact that like one of the characters who I was like, they're gonna be fine, dies, I'm like, like anyone can like go, and it's like it's so interesting because it looks at the importance of imagination. And I like the villain isn't this like, because at first I'm gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be like gonna be this person where I was like, do you know what we need? Less imagination. You need to grow up, kid. Who needs an imaginary friend? I thought that was gonna be the whole thing where I was like, I'm probably an institute. I was like, yes, it's gonna be you. You're gonna be the one that's gonna be anti-imagination. And I was like, nope, he's for the imagination, wants to absorb the power, absolutely terrible because of it. And I'm like, didn't see that coming, flat out. So I absolutely find this so good and so creative. It is so good. So yeah, I absolutely think this is an amazing film with amazing characters. And I 100% recommend to watch this because it's so fun to watch with like charming characters that have like really fun designs. And some of the imagination characters and some of the smaller ones, even those, have just fun designs. So yeah, this was good, and this is the end of the video. Good night.
Yeah, that is noticeable, which I'm going to ignore. Go away, you waffly waffler. No waffling! I hate you! Go die! Oh. No, thank you for that. I don't want to.
I just don't believe you. Why won't you tell me where you've been?
Actually, it's my fault. I sort of employed Rose as my companion.
How old are you then? 40? 45? What, you find her on the internet? Go online and pretend you're a doctor?
I am a doctor.
Prove it. Stitch this, mate.
There are people in this world whose faces light up when they see you. And that's not because of what you can do, or what you can provide, or how they can benefit from you. It's just because of who you are.
Things a sports commentator would never say.
Well, you have to hand it to relay runners, don't you?
Oh, good. Stuart, I thought I heard your voice. Do you have a moment? Yeah, I guess. What's up? I've spent the last 3 hours in an online debate in the DC Comics Batman chat room, and I need your help.
Oh, yeah, those guys can be very stubborn. What's the topic?
I am asserting, in the event that Batman's death proves permanent, the original Robin, Dick Grayson, is the logical successor to the Batcowl.
Ooh, Sheldon, I'm afraid you couldn't be more wrong.
More wrong? Wrong is an absolute state and not subject to gradation.
Of course it is. It's a little wrong to say a tomato is a vegetable. It's very wrong to say it's a suspension bridge. But returning to the original issue, Dick Grayson became Nightwing, a superhero in his own right. Batman 2 has to be the second Robin, Jason Todd.
It has to be. Has to be. I hope you're being deliberately provocative.
How does Hamilton, an arrogant, immigrant, orphan, bastard, poor son, somehow endorse Thomas Jefferson, his enemy? A man he's despised since the beginning, just to keep me from winning. I wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens, the room where it happens. You've kept me from the room where it happens for the last time.
Does anybody else go on TikTok for a few minutes and then 4 hours fucking late?
Okay, I swear on my mental health, I'm gonna
I've
lose...
seen your mental health. You might want to swear at something else, man.
So yeah. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I'm probably going to get it wrong, absolutely. But yeah. So yeah, at first I was a bit confused of what it was that this series was meant to be. But overall, I definitely think near the end that I liked it. I thought it was a amazing series with good fighting. This is one of the first series that I don't really get. I get what they were trying to do, but I just was like, okay. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really pay attention to it. I'm sorry. I saw cool people fighting. Sometimes my brain switches off. I'm going to be completely honest. But it was cool. It was awesome. And I do like the idea of, like, the one thing I love, and I think it's, like, really interesting, is who the villains are. And their connection to a specific organization. Even in the spoiler version, I am not going to say which ones. You're going to have to just look it up because I don't want to say the organization. But I'm like, that's not a bad thing. I'm not insulting them for that, but I'm like, that was a risky play, but a risk that they did. Like, really interesting. And the idea of what they talk about what their sort of thing is really interesting about, which I'm going to bring up. So a lot of this and a lot of the villains have stuff around victory and what victory means. And I like it. I find that idea really interesting, really fun, and really interesting to think about, like, what does victory really mean? At the end of the day, what is like the role of victory? And the other thing which I like that they talk about is war. And I like it. I absolutely love this idea and just love that they battle over it. Over desires, over wishes, over their hopes. Because, like, there's so many people in both sides that, like, there's this kid. I love to say kid because, like, I don't think he's that young. Who had a tragic backstory. But, like, he's still an absolute horrible human being. But the idea of, like, that sort of thing is really interesting. And the thing with the reincarnation is also really interesting and also really fascinating, but it's kind of just, it was like, that happens, and then it's like, and so I just love it. But yeah, I like it. I thought it was fun. Again, I am going to be completely honest, I did watch the whole thing, I am admitting on that. But I kind of just was like, sometimes in certain series I like, I just, to be completely honest. And I'm like, I saw this as like something dark, and until it got into it, I'm like, I still liked it. It's so good. So yeah. This is a fun action sort of stuff with like a couple of things questioning like dreams, hopes, ideas. I don't know. It's fun. It's awesome. Watch it if you want to. And I hope you enjoyed, and good night. And also, right now about here, I've got my Bandicoot of the Part 9 edit.
Hello, I'd like to upgrade myself, please.
Okay.
Of course, sir.
Character
What skill
upgrade.
could I interest you in? I'll have 1 thievery, please. That'll be 10 silver, please. I don't think I have enough. Well, you can get a charm skill for 1 silver. Oh, lovely. I'll take 1 of them then, please. Lovely. Here you go. I suppose you're too handsome to throw in a barter. Well, since you're so charming, what's the best price you could do on a trickery? Trickery's 4, and that's the lowest I'll go. I'll give you 1. Sold. Oh, what's that one over there?
Okay.
Actually, I'll just take a thievery, I think. Alright, that'll be 1 silver, please. Thank you very much. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Oh, this is hilarious.
So I'm just going to do it now. So again, we're not going to have the 10th on today.
Would you punch me in the face for $1 million?
I would knock you the fuck out for $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would punch my pretty face and mess it up for money?
Yeah, and we could buy you a fucking new face. You're not even that fucking pretty, honestly.
Oh man, that sounded good. Now I have to do my neck. Ow, my neck!
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't think I'm gonna get this. I was so close! I should have used my Volt EXE more.
Things a sports commentator would never say.
What a thrilling cricket match.
Stressing every second that I waste is another second sooner to a blessing I won't take. But my therapist will tell me that I'm going through a stage. Yeah, it's not a fucking stage. I just wanna feel okay. Okay, motherfucker, now you got my attention.
So today I'll be reviewing The Man with 1,000 Kids. So yeah, I found this, and the reason why I watched this is simple. This is going to be a bit less because I have more to talk about. The Man with 1,000 Kids. I watched this for sort of like 2 reasons. 3 reasons. 1, the name. 2, it was like a free series documentary. And sometimes when you get like these really interesting free, like small series, which goes into the 4th point, this seemed similar to like the Don't Mess with Cats one. I think it was Don't Mess with Cat one. It was one where like the guy did the thing with the cat that was horrible and inhumane, and then turned into more bigger problems, and then they tried to stop him doing those like serial unaliving things. But onto this. This was so interesting. Not only did I learn things, see the uncensored version, but you realize how up this guy's head is. I'm not going to go into too much details because 1, watch the original, 2, to truly just sense how absolutely insane this guy is. I feel like it's just better going in blind. There will be a couple of things that I will be saying, but not his mindset, because no, this is so shocking and so like intense. It is absolutely interesting. So the one thing which I like is, for a lot of these, you have these one-on-one interviews that build up the scenarios with these, like, I think, recreation moments where they recreate it with, I think, some of the people who are being interviewed for, like, both recreation plus a regular interview, which I think I like that style. Sort of a recreation with a couple of moments plus some of the stuff. I also find it interesting that, I'm not going to talk about too much, but the one thing about him, but the one thing I do find interesting is that they don't really show, they show in pictures. They have a lot of photos, like, here's the person. but when they try and like recreate like certain moments, for all the other people, they recreate them with the current people being who they were in the moment. They just show the back of his head, and I feel like that's intentional, because if you just look at like this, you can't read much, and I like that as the idea of like you don't really read much. And like when I heard, because there was a thing saying like the Netherlands having like, oh, you can't donate your sperm to people getting more pregnant. There's like a rule being like, not rule, rules and laws are different, quite different. There's a law saying that like you can only have a certain amount of kids. I didn't know that. And as a person who was one of those persons where, I'm not going to explain my mum and dad's situation behind it and the explanation, that's not for this, but I am just going to tap in saying that like I was one of the person who my mum had a sperm donated. That's a thing with me, with like my mum and dad. I won't explain much about that because that's not important. If you want, I don't know. Anyway, but I am that. A donated sperm. I don't know the exact word it is, but I didn't know that. Like that there's a limit. I know my mum told me that women can only give birth to 2, which also is a thing, which is interesting. And I also get that idea. But I didn't know, like, there was one on males. I should have been like, no. The idea of, like, not having too many is, like, sort of like the things that they describe. Which is absolutely, if he's doing, like they just said, doing it on purpose, it's absolutely up. And, like, at first I'm like, oh, why would that be so bad? And when I went into the series, I learned, because I was like, I didn't really know, like, how bad it could be. And when you learn about how up that could lead. And the one thing which I thought at the time, which I don't think they brought about, but with one person I don't think it'll cause too much, which is genetic biodiversity, which means there's enough genetics meeting certain diseases. That's why, like, a lot of people say that it's not good to have, like, relationships between brother and sister because you have that genetic biodiversity problem because the parents are too close. You get a thing with, like, certain, like, genes not being great and, like, you get mutations that could lead to more health problems. If you want more information, see Game of Thrones, where they talk about that in the Game of Thrones by Game Theory. They have a theory on that. It's really interesting. But, like, when they talk about the idea and how, like, 1,000, like, you get all of them having, but, like, that is so, it is so, like, what the, and shocking. And, like, at first they showed, like, oh, it's, like, a couple, like, every other city. I'm like, okay. And then they showed, like, oh, 5 in the same lane. Are you joking? You are insane. This could lead to so many problems of, like, all of this happening. And alongside, like, the way that they put it, the sperm roulette, where they put, like, 2 and then do that. That is so effed up and so... This is so long, but yeah, it is absolutely interesting. And it shows how stupid these two people are. Or more specifically, insane these two people are. Because it is on purpose. They know what they're doing. The fact that they know what they're doing makes it even worse. So yeah. This is really good. It will definitely, like, make you understand how bad and how terrible someone who will do something like this could do to, like, the children or, like, to a bigger scale. It is absolutely, again, genetics. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. I'm not the best person to talk about how the genetics, it truly means. The show describes it perfectly, even for someone like me, who doesn't really know genetics too great. I would say I don't know genetics too great, but I think I got a C in biology, so I at least know a decent amount. So, C in biology is the best I've gone. But it's really interesting, really worth watching. Absolutely go and watch it. So yeah, sorry for this being one of the longest reviews for a while. I had a lot to say about this series, but I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Good night.
I love the eyes with this image. It's like, "Ooh, I will serve you waffles, master. Yes, give me waffles." Also, I just realized my own mistake is on this day. The inception is so weird. You'd think that I have a program around not doing it on this day. But
Guys, have you ever seen a pack of Tic Tacs where all of the little Tic Tacs are lined up perfectly, like this?
No.
Like, I've never seen such a thing.
yeah, neither have I.
They're all in the same way round. Like, what?
Magic.
That's the power of
It must be
propaganda.
magic.
So yeah, today I will be reviewing this series. So yeah, I found this series because what I'm doing is when I'm watching Crunchyroll and anime, I sometimes watch Netflix, and then because I might want to actually watch some of these series because I originally planned to, but then Crunchyroll just took over everything, so I'm gonna watch them. So this series looked interesting because, you know, circle, magic, and this entire thing just looked awesome. And plus, this name was like, oh, maybe it's like a superhero thing. Yes, I guessed it was a superhero thing because it says soup and it had the letter E. Sometimes I am very simple and very dumb. But apparently I was somewhat on right. This is the idea of like, there's a sort of thing with people like discovering this latent gene that gives them this insane power and discovering what's going on. Because all I remember is the trailer, which essentially showed, and then the future. So obviously one person goes into the future, sees all of them, and is like, oh, you have to find them to prevent this. It is so good and so interesting to see like how they need to find each other and what the powers are and what you can do, and like you can tell their emotions, what they want, what they sort of drive for, and it's really interesting and absolutely cool. So yeah, this is so cool. And also I was about to put this in the spoiler territory, but because of the things that I have said before, that I don't consider, if it's in the trailer, I don't consider it a spoiler. I'm not going to go back and be like, rerun, because I thought it was pretty good the way that I described the way I like, but I forgot that they say this in the trailer. So, yeah. So, it's one of those things where you go to the future and it's like they're trying to prevent a death in the future. But, again, why is it in the spoiler territory? It doesn't count as a spoiler because it's in the trailer. So, spoiler time. I love how they sort of see the powers. It's how they slowly reveal each one having the powers. And the one moment I love, which is so good, is there's a scene with sort of 4 of them have powers. An invisible one, super strength, wind like magic, and super speed. And you slowly see each one of them use their abilities. A gun gets fired off and I think he goes invisible. The person picks up the safe to hold it to like make the bullet bounce off it. The other one uses wind to blow the wind away, and because the other one's so fast and is seeing all of this happen at such like a speed that he can like dodge it easily, you see all of them sort of demonstrating in a not like, oh, who will win, in like a sort of like, these abilities are awesome, but you see a sort of like them sort of like at that point knowing sort of a basic understanding of like strong things. I can use this to deflect the bullets. Wind blows that away as like a reaction, and the person realizing the bullet just dodges it, and it's so incredible the way that it sort of like looks at one person, pans to another, pans to another, and pans to another. I thought that was absolutely genius in like how it goes one, snap, 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 snap. It is so good. The one thing which I feel, and I might be wrong, but I don't know if this is either set in London or New York, because it has that like city feel. But again, I don't know if it's set in London or New York. I don't know. It's still interesting either way, so that's not the point. I think London because I don't know. No, why am I saying that? Across the south of London. So it does take place in London, and I'm just an idiot. But yeah. But I like that sort of like interesting look at the characters. And there's not many shows that I think have London, or maybe I'm wrong. If I am, give me an example. So yeah, before I say the conclusion, I did say like, oh, name me a series. I do know Doctor Who, at least the earlier versions, saw place in London. Like David Tennant and the first Doctor, sort of like what people say, the 9th Doctor and David Tennant's Doctor, both have a thing in London. Sarah Jane Smith also takes place in London, and I said I watched both of those. I do know that. And I know the current series does sort of take place in London. Also, it feels so weird going back to London when I think Matt Smith wasn't really in London. I don't know if Jodie Whittaker was in London. It seemed like it was out in London. Or maybe I'm different. And Chris and the one between Matt Smith and Jodie Whittaker also didn't feel like was in London. Maybe. I don't know. I might be insane. That's besides the point. Or maybe I'm just comparing like the way that they directed Sarah Jane Smith, and it looked a bit different, like a little bit different editing. Because I like that sort of weird editing. It just has a fun nature to it. Anyway, I liked this sort of series. It's really good, and I love it. It's amazing. So I hope you enjoy, and good night.
Okay. Okay, I opened an episode. I've immediately got the contract.
Stitch was off, but y'all summoned me to this one, and the summon was the pinned comment. Then you know what we're here to do. Let's double. Let's go. You good, Todoroki? What if Bakugo voiced a GPS? What's so funny about that, Deku? Great job! You missed the exit, you fucking disgrace! Wait. Make a U-turn if you can, dumbass.
So yeah, today I will be reviewing Barbecue Showdown Season 1. So usually I would have spoilers, non-spoiler version, but this is a game show. And so it's not going to be like, and then plot, and then this. So I'm just going to have, I'm still going to put it in the non-spoiler. In fact, I might need to edit it around a bit and just copy this paste and then do reviews on game shows and just have 2. Yeah, so I'll be doing that. But I liked this show because I like barbecue. I'm not going to say I know much about barbecuing. I just like sometimes standing there barbecue, listening to some music and just simple man, simple needs. I'm not even going to say that I know much. Like, there's stuff where it's like they marinate the meat, and I'm like, I would like to learn that. That sounds like a fun idea. It sounds like it will flavor the meat, and I don't know how. The only thing I kind of got, which I've heard before through like seeing other people talking about bark. There's so many TV shows about the bark, which I'm guessing is like the outer coating of it. And it learned so much. I also learned and saw them put on like a rub, which again, I would like to learn about. Like, they like sort of marinate or like putting a rub on some meats to like season it better. And I might want to learn how to do that, because that'll be interesting. To be fair, one of the only things I really cook on the barbecue are either spare ribs, which is like the solo versions, burgers, sausages, and chicken kebabs, which already usually are seasoned, I think. Unless someone says there's probably a better way. It's like a farm shop near me. But I want to see if I can like learn how to like create this rub around some ribs and see if that, like, I don't know, if like anyone knows, because I get the tactics, not fully, but like I somewhat understand them. But like, it is fun, it is awesome, it is absolutely amazing and really interesting. So usually I would have this moment where it's like spoilers, but because it's not, you're just gonna have a weird cut because I just remembered a couple of things. And you know what, I'm gonna put this into sort of what you would define as spoilers in a sort of way. So the one thing I like is that each one, the graphics, I absolutely love. I loved the graphics. I'm going back on my word like always. Anyway, focus, Henry. I also love how throughout each one, they explain how hard it is. Like, the first one was, like, cooking with, like, a bone. And they're talking about, like, oh, yeah, you would think that would be easy, but sometimes you can get the outer parts cooked and the inner parts where near the bone is. You don't get too much cooked. And that could be hard trying to regulate that heat. They also talk about, and also a couple of the contestants, especially near the end, I was like, they seemed really interesting. And the one comment I love the most was like about the garlic. It's like really interesting. And I loved the fact that they kept changing it in slow ways to make it like slowly a little bit more interesting. I know this is not much, but it doesn't really have spoilers, and that's what I'm classifying this section as. This is an absolutely good show to watch. Definitely with all like the little tricks that they like that they sort of like tell and talk about throughout the season, and not the season. Throughout the season, yeah, it is correct. The sort of show they tell they're like, oh, why this is a problem, why that is a problem, and they show fun little tricks. So I 100% recommend to watch it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and good night. Remember Sarah Jane Adventures? Let's talk about season 3. So yeah, I'm trying a new intro system. And yeah, so let's talk about season 3. Season 3 I think is surprisingly really good. And yes, I'm going to make sure I get the names version on point for this section, because it's not spoiled. I do love how each season keeps improving on the last. And I love the whole sort of adventure that they have. Season 3, I think, is really good. Again, I don't know why. I just like it. There's a lot of good... It's one of my favorite seasons. Besides, like, the first episode, and it's not bad, it's just not as good. And I am fully going to admit that there's one episode where I'm going to talk about more. I felt like the season 4 does a bit better at, and I do believe that. I also love some of the ideas that like border on like border of sci-fi to like flat out magic, and it's so good. So yeah, the couple of series that I like are like not the first episode, which is The Prisoners of Dradoon, which I like, but it's compared to like other stuff where it's like role reverse. Season 4's ending sort of does it better. Spoilers for season 4, but I'm not going to mention too much about it. And I feel like there's a better sort of like idea of it in other shows, especially when shapeshifters are involved. Body snatching, I think, is an interesting idea, but because it's sort of like a kid's show, they don't play into that horror or that idea of horrifying. Because that idea is horrifying. I also like the fact that they have Woman in the Attic. That idea that plays with time is an absolute fun idea, in my opinion. And when they have the Doctor finally show up in The Wedding of Sarah Jane, I do love how they sort of like, he fits in, because obviously it's the same universe, but it's like he fits in with the group. Because this isn't the first time that he's been with Luke, because I think this takes place after sort of like the thing, because he did that thing with Sarah Jane Smith, which is really interesting. And this probably takes place in between those sort of things, because he says, "Oh yeah, Luke." Like, oh yes, I remember Luke. So they probably have already had interaction. The Empty Traps having like, is this a ghost story? It was like, when I first watched it, I was like, wait a second, are ghosts real? And I'm like, no, we're not. This show's like really good for me, and I haven't had a show like it. It gives that feeling of like, really like, just like a fun show. No needless villains, besides like a couple, but they're more, it's not like, and I'd be like three seasons in and it's like, plot twist, Clyde was evil. The only time you get that is Mr. Smith, but you always feel Mr. Smith is unique. And I think a couple of people are like, huh. And like, off by it. Sarah Jane isn't, but because Sarah Jane's already seen aliens and then saw Mr. Smith. But you can kind of tell, like, it's really interesting and they focus on him. I think he's the villain in season 1, is it? Or is it season 2? I think it's season 2. No. They bring back 2 aliens for season 2. No, it probably is season 1. Yeah, season 1. Yeah. Yeah. So I always liked that idea. I always found it interesting. But again, it's just a nice show with nice characters. So yeah, I absolutely enjoy Sarah Jane Adventures. So I 100% recommend for you to watch it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and good night. I've been recommended to remove the watermark, but when I found videos to describe how to do that, it was complicated. If everyone has any tips, could you please let me? I've been recommended to remove the watermark, but when I found videos to describe how to do that, it was complicated. If everyone has any tips, could you please let me?
Okay. I had no choice. Oh, I'm surprised this one's really good. Is that just big videos or is that just... Wow. That is a big strike.
No. I'm gonna let the finger decide. Wait. Whoa. What is happening? The Dragon Warrior! It's me!
I'm gonna try and increase your station rate and see if that... Why don't you... Okay, I'll just do...
A great slam and then it's on.
Better then joins the madness.
Yay! It's the first time I've ever had that worked. Yay! Welcome! So welcome to the madness. Yay. I'm making some TikToks if you want to talk about it. Also...
Honestly, whatever, I'm down for whatever. We could go see a movie, we could get lunch, we could kill someone. Or, the apple orchard?
Excuse me, may I have your attention for just a moment? Thank you.
I don't say please, I don't say thank you. I just do what I want. And if you want to get with me, you better have what I want. I don't say please, I don't say thank you. I just do what I want. And if you want to get with me, you better have.
Mental health? Bad. Emotional health? Bad. Physical health? Bad. Hey, are you feeling okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Lie!
Anyone that picks Monty Golf is just a nerd.
Ooh, Gator Golf.
Why can't I move my eyes? Oh, why can't I move my mouth? Is this an internal dialogue? I can't see the end of the horizon. Hatsune Miku!
Is this a review? Is this not a review? Stick around and maybe you'll find out. So besides that being a very weird opening, let's continue. I just wanted to test a couple of new openings because that'd be fun. Anyway, The Mole, Season 2. Yeah. I absolutely love this series. Because the idea of someone actively working out who can we trust? Who can we not trust? Who's the liar? Who's not telling the exact truth? Is so good. It's and slowly revealing more and more information of like deductions. I'm like, I think. No, it was not this. It was something else. But it was so fun, so interesting, and so awesome. So, the only sort of spoilers is two things. One, I've mentioned on stream before, so if you've seen that, you've seen that, which is one of the persons essentially gave in, like, a lot of money to, like, £59,000, which was all the money on the pot. It was like 59,600, but I don't know the exact hundreds, but it was like 59,000, not 60,000, but 59,000. So between 59,000 and 69,000 for an exemption. And I know if you are a person who is a legit person, which we find out later, he's not the mole. He's just, actually, why am I doing this? He's just one of the people in there trying to actually get something from this and actually gain a sort of thing. But the problem with that, it is 59,000. And I mentioned before, this is a cutthroat game. So I admit, I am going to be completely honest, I would have put £30,000 for that exemption. I would be fully admitting, I agree with you. Like he says, oh, you would have done the same. Fully. 59,000? No. Probably someone would have got more, but I would have stopped at 59,000. Same with like the dropping. I think it was like 20,000. Below 10,000, I would have been like, nope, I'm out. No, I think it was more. No, it was 40,000, and I would have still got left there. Nah, I think I'll probably leave it at 20,000 because I don't think I would have. There's no point with 10,000 for like a game show, for like an exemption early on, because statistically I don't think you. But like for this, which is like midway through, this was I think just before, because they had 3 busts, and this was just before, just the last episode of like you have bust 1, bust 2, bust 3, and I think it was the last episode of the first bust. I think. But I wouldn't have put essentially like near £60,000. 30,000, I will fully admit, I am fully going to put my hands on the table, being like, I'll put £30,000 for the pot for an exemption. If it means I survive one more, like, day, sure, I'll put like £30,000. Sure, hands down. It's like half the budget, but sure, I'll put that. But I don't think I'll go like anywhere close to like 35,000. Nowhere. Not even 60. I think the problem that I'm getting annoyed with sometimes is it's 60,000. The one thing which I also think, I was like, imagine if like the undercover cop was like the mole. But until the last episode, I'm like, because like at the last episode where it's like, I'm gonna like accidentally do it, like, are you actually the mole? Am I just joking about you being the mole? Not actually thinking you're the mole, but just joking that you're the mole, and you're actually the mole. Because if that's the case, absolutely. Wow. You didn't see that, but like, I think, actually, but yeah, probably. But like, absolutely. And then turns out he was. And I'm like, that is absolutely clever. 100%. Bravo. That was ingenious. So in conclusion, this game is insane and makes me question if any single person could lie to me. But yeah, it's really fun, really good, and even though you can basically watch the whole series, it is still 100% worth it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Good night.
Do this. This one.
now. Just
A great slam and then some. It's on.
My darling, you'll never be everybody's cup of tea. Because you're champagne, my love. You're in a league of your own.
Sure, I could be a Disney greeter. Watch. Hi, and welcome to Denny's. Wait, that's not right.
Have you been drinking?
No, sir.
Say the ABCs backwards.
The ABC's backwards.
First, get a jar. Patrick, that's a pickle.
Yes.
After the monologue. That's what I do to everyone I meet. Describe my life, my failures, my hopes and dreams. By the way, do I know you?
What are you doing, you oaf? She's pretty. And you're ugly. Now let's get to work.
Hello. Kate Stewart, Head of Scientific Research at UNIT. And with dress sense like that, you must be the doctor. I hoped it'd be you.
Tell me, since when did science run the military, Kate?
Since me, UNIT's been adapting. Well, I dragged them along, kicking and screaming, which made it sound like more fun than it actually was.
What do we know about these cubes?
Far less than we need to.
Love's in the air. Or more specifically, this word love is in this air. While it's in this review. So yeah. This. I like it. It's fun, it's nice, it's got nice characters, and it's just overall just wholesome. There are like a lot of characters just slowly sort of like getting together. And like just understanding the sort of like love. And I like it because of that. It's so sweet. I am going to be completely honest. I've said it before. I'm not a person who's really a big fan of romance. I'd never say, like, romances are terrible. I just think a lot of the plots have been, like, B1, B2, B3. But I get why, like, sometimes people want two people to just get together and have, like, a nice time. Like, sure, I'm fine with that. Like, and yes, I know this is a bit negative, I fully admit that. But I watch, like, mindless actions. Some people like watching mindless romance. I'm not going to call out, like, women. No, that's BS. Anyone who says that is stupid. Some men like romances. And some women like action. I'm not going to claim either way because that's stupid. Just, I'm not a person who likes romance. So I never fully... Besides this series, and a couple of others, which are interesting for, like, breaking the norms. Might do something else, but that's on another tangent. This I love. I just like the idea. I find it interesting, and I find it just really fun. So yeah, there's nothing really much with spoilers. I'm just putting it in here just to let you know that. I do like how the whole show, each one of the episodes is named after, like, a thing that you will experience in a romance. Like, date. Or, like, in Japan, I think, like, Christmas. Or, like, a Christmas theme. Or maybe it's just a romantic thing in general, having, like, first Christmas. I don't know. I haven't been in a romance, to be completely honest. But they have sort of, like, first Christmas being an episode. And it's, like, all about experiencing each episode at first. Which is less on a story detail, because, again, it ran on IMDb on trailers. And no further. I don't need you to do too much research. Just, I don't really consider, like, title names. Not these graphics here, because sometimes if you watch an episode and then watch later, you'll see sometimes one character will appear and one in, like, an action thing. Not in a romance, but like an action thing of, like, oh wait, no, he's alive. Which I've seen way too often by me watching an anime that's previously passed and then accidentally, oh wait, no, I'm no fear of him because he's in this one here. Obviously you can be tricked and the character could just be in a memory. But the idea of episode title. I don't really do spoilers, but don't have anything else to say, so I'm just going to put that here. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun, and it's 100% worth watching. So yeah, I hope you liked, enjoyed, and good night.
I'm gonna see if I've got 45 minutes. I'm gonna see how quick I can do this. This is just hilarious. I can do this. And I don't think I was ever gonna do something in 45 minutes. I just like doing this at the end. Why? Because, I don't know, it's fun. Why am I still... Because I don't know what I should do. I know the best plan is to get a better super boss. And I hate my boss, so... Fine. I said I'll be doing like some more reviews, like to see if I can test the intros. But because of the editing and all the time, and I'm chock-a-block for the next couple of days, I might not. I'm sorry. I sound like a dick and contradictory myself. But like because of all that stuff, I don't think it'd be a good time right now. Also, almost forgot to. Jesus. It's the one that doesn't have any gameplay footage. Wait, when to edit. I'm getting closer to nowadays. We've got the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 18th. I might like not edit this one because I just basically talking about how many deaths I've had because that was the first time I got access to that. And then the 19th, and then next week we'll have access to the 20th, meaning most likely I'll be able to edit the 20th. However, for the time being, that doesn't matter.
Some punk out there called me a ginger, so I clawed him. But now I'm worried. What if I went too deep? What if he didn't make it? Oh, you gotta hide me. How about under this pillow? Oh, I'm climbing the walls here. I can't go back to the kennel.
We serve food here, sir.
So yeah, you might see this is a bit more brighter. So yeah, I've got a new ring light, which supposedly might help the brightness, and because a lot of other people, so I've got it. I can also make it a little bit more saturated or a little bit more orange. I'm going with this one for the time being because it gets a nice color, brings the color up, makes it more saturated. Doesn't work on here, works on my iPad perfectly fine, but like my streams, which will be less colored for some reason. It's not picking up the light, which is weird, but you know, this is mostly for TikTok, and my streams are just going to be like some other stuff. So for like gameplay, I might move a bit to the side, which might help. I don't know. I'm testing all this out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah.
Things a sports commentator would never say.
I'd like to apologise. What you're watching is in fact judo, and not, as I said earlier, timed pyjama cuddling.
Is this helping? Is this helping? Hello, can you see me? This is Morse code for ah!
I don't know about you guys, but the first thing what I do when I clock in, when I go to work, is I hide. Because they say good workers are hard to find, and you know, I'm a good worker.
Okay. I haven't got up to this, so I'm just going to ignore it because
Great to see you again. Okay, mango.
What are you on about?
Oh, it's my safe word.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Let's try again. Within just shy of like this, I don't know, 4 seconds left of the timer. Yay, I did it.
You know, it's like what they say. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, shame on me. Fool me 4 times, shame on me. Why do you keep trying to fool?
In the event of a zombie apocalypse filter, what do you think I will carry? It's perfect.
Don't want to eat candy. But the parasites in me want the candy. I don't want to drink liquor. I don't like liquor. But the parasite, the demon in me, it wants the liquor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Let's be a bit nostalgic and think about our childhood. Not childhood shows, just think about Big Bang Theory, young Sheldon's childhood. So yeah, young Sheldon, and if I'm correct, this is season 5, because I forgot to put it in the picture. I remember the things that I just don't remember the number. Again, names, bad. But I think it's really sort of good. And again, you might have seen more of these, that's because in between, and it won't happen for a bit now because I've run out of the shows I want to see on Netflix. Yeah, season 6. So I'm just waiting for a bit more. Young Sheldon, I think, is like decent. I never started watching Big Bang Theory, and when I watch this, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And it's good. I like it. It's fun. It's really interesting, but there's nothing much to say about it. It's just sort of like a more sarcastic version of The Simpsons. And yes, people are going to throw hate at me over that, but it is. It really is. It is funny, it is good, and it is hilarious. We have a lot of like scientific things in it. I don't know if there's like been a YouTube video being like, here's all the scientific references that they made in Young Sheldon, because I wouldn't be surprised if there is. But yeah. So yeah, besides the moment at the end, besides 2 moments, which, there's not much spoiler-wise, but besides 2 moments which, one, shockingly show, like, underage drinking, which is, I've heard, a problem. I don't usually drink that much. I usually drink Coke and Fizzy Up because I'm like, yeah. Not any religious reasons or anything, I just choose not to because I don't care. If you drink, sure, you can drink. The other thing which I find really interesting is that they show people running away, like getting into a car, driving away, like, which is essentially like underage driving, because obviously also driving without a license, which is just really interesting as an idea of like, I didn't thought like a show like this would do that, but yeah, they did. So yeah, this is a good show. I absolutely like it, and it's really good to watch. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and good night.
That expression. That's the expression of someone who's died 12 times in a row. I didn't hear no bell.
Are you afraid of no ghost? Good, because we're talking about Dead Boy Detective. I would be worried if you were afraid of ghosts and we're talking about ghosts. So yeah, this was really, really good, and I liked it. I like the story of like, you slowly getting these one-off cases, and then slowly that equaling to something bigger coming. And as you learn more, I just love it. Learn each individual story, investigations, and like all the different mysteries that happen is really, really interesting, and I just love it. That sort of like happening of like stories, tales, and it's fun and awesome. It sort of has a theming of like the afterlife and like having like a perfect afterlife, which I like, and it's really fun. But yeah, hell. I keep trying to butter this up, but hell looks cool. I keep trying to, I try to say it multiple times and I didn't know how to, like, after and I'm like, no, hell. It is sort of like hell, and they mention it's hell. And the fact that you go through sin after sin, and then once you go in, it's like, well, okay, this doesn't seem so bad. And then once you go out, now I see why this is so bad. It is like horrifying. It's like, and it sort of hints towards maybe if you go to hell, you can be redeemed. Because you see a light and it's like, where's he going? But yeah, I find it interesting. I love it. And I found it absolutely awesome and amazing. So yeah. Yeah, the show is absolutely awesome. So cool and so 100% worth to watch. So I hope you enjoyed and good night.
But, I'm currently also downloading something, so because I want to combine 1 to 10 to see if I can, like, if that works, if that makes something fun. Paste. And paste. No, not literally undo the whole thing. Block of insanity, and then we're gonna go back to normal on Saturday. But yeah, welcome. Let's do some more playing. Let's see if I actually can do anything. I'm gonna see if I can get more habited, and I am going to try and aim for a goal. Move down. Move down. Cross. Can you actually...
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay. 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 Woo!
Pig. Here. This pig is in... Grand. If I get this covered, that's... Know my rhyme. When 400 and... I'm failing along. The arrow set free, every arrow, they say we are birds of a feather. The happy amigos, right away we go. The 1, 2, and 3 goes, we're always together. Da, 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 da. Caballero. If anyone can actually do that naturally, I'm like, that is respect. Because I'm like, how? How? That is magic. No.
Leave my mind. One of those being, what counts as Muppet cannibalism?
If you take each one of them representing like a bear Muppet or a pig Muppet, you can either make the argument for it's either you don't eat, like, it's not like one-to-one to the real life animal to the real life in a way, and it's just if you eat any Muppet, or you go down the line of like thinking if you, those are the two theories. The other one is if you have like if you have the sort of like frog and the pig, would that be interspecies relationship technically? In a similar sort of logic? I don't know. I was just thinking of this because this is just absolutely weird when it's like this game and I'm like, wait, what about this?
They said if you score more than 50 points in this game, you're a champ. This is gonna be so easy.
Ooh. If I put the ability slowly, this might be more effective later on. I see the stomach. I'm taking the stomach.
So yeah. Let's see. Sensei. I feel like having a smart mind is really useful, so that's number one. Ooh, have it. No, the op fruit is overpowered if you use it right. Ooh, having him as a sensei, yeah. Yes. I'm gonna take, because I don't think does she? Okay. I don't think she does, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take Zoro's Haki. I feel like that would be good. I've kind of forgot this guy's name. But I feel like this is good. Yeah. What's your one?
Ash might know more, I might not be the best builder, I might not be very good at fighting, and I might make lots of things go wrong. But I am the one that has the chainsaw.
But if you do that, they will think you're weird. Who are they? My friends? They know I'm weird. My family? They knew it before my friends did. Random people I don't know or like?
Well, that's a problem. But not my fault. I did everything I could, and you did too. Also, why are you still here?
So yeah. I have this, and I'm opening it and I'm going to look at it, because I don't know what's in it, as you can see. All open, so I haven't... Oh, that looks so cool. It looks so cool. And the second one. I love it. These are so cool. Also so weird because like I know this is just a bag, but like yeah. There's also another thing, but I'm gonna do that while I'm still gonna chat. So yeah. Yeah. So I've got this new thing. So I've got this. Look. Also, I realized by accident, this is a 3XL. Usually I use 2XL. But yeah, this is so cool. So yeah. But this is so cool. It's like, yeah. I also like pink. The pink looks so nice. I'm like, woo! But yeah, this is so good. It is big because, again, I usually do 2XL, but I've got this which fits me so well, but it's so good. So yeah. It's so good, it's so nice, and so comfortable. And yes, I've got this orange shirt on. It's not relevant. I usually just pick a random shirt that I'm just gonna wear. I'm gonna do. It's so cool. It's just so fun. It's so nice. So I hope you enjoy. And yeah. So yeah, let's go spacey, wamey, timey, wimey to some Sarah Jane adventures. So yeah. So yeah, this is nearly the last one. Yes, technically I've catch up with season 5, but because I wanted to make each season separate, and I like doing these weird Mondays on my other iPad. I save these for Mondays because I'm insane and I could have some TikToks I want to do update on. So BBC and stuff for like TV shows or like One Piece, which I have watched 74 to 85. So that will be coming out soon. I know this is not part of a review. This is just something that I came to my head in case people ask. So yeah, you'll be getting like next Monday will be season 5, then it'll be Despicable Me 4, then it'll be One Piece. I know this sounds stupid and absolutely insane because most likely it is. But yeah, I'm also even doing a review on the old iPad because yesterday I didn't do that. So yes, it's even more insane. But besides the point. I liked this season. And there's so much detail that I want to talk about, but it's so good. With the acting, with the visuals, with the designs. I absolutely love it. So that's small because the more things I want to talk about are episode specific, which I somewhat classed as spoilers. With the first two parts being the Nightmare Mare, which I like the idea of. It's sort of a found footage because you get the clips, you get the regular show, and then you get him holding the camera to him, and I love that through part 1. And then part 2 sort of gets back into the swing of like, here's the old thing again. And I like it. That sort of contrast between the two is really interesting, and I absolutely love that idea. Definitely, it is interesting that they have him leave, but because he's comes back and does have some interesting parts in later episodes, I do love this entire season. This is, I would say, one of my favorites. Besides season 3. Season 3 and season 4, I think, are my favorite. The Vault, I love. I love the idea of, like... I love it interesting they have Men in Black and they made, like, where's Will Smith? Because, again, Men in Black was a movie series and Will Smith was in it. And I just find that, like, they knew what they were doing. It felt like they knew what they were doing. But Death of the Doctor, I think, was the most interesting episode, but I love how they sort of, like, have that. And these two episodes, which also includes the other two episodes of Sarah Jane Smith's, The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, are, like, the two episodes that they directly have Doctor iconography. Like, the Doctor himself, sort of, like, the sonic screwdriver, and the TARDIS. Obviously, you don't have any companions, because even in the Sarah Jane wedding, you had, like, 4 people, and this you have even more. I feel like you don't need, like, I don't know who it was at the wedding time. I think it most likely takes place in between, like, just before he dies and just after he, like, I don't think just after, like, probably in between, like, he wiped the memory of his last companion, so probably doesn't have a companion. But this was like, oh, dropped Rory off at a honeymoon planet. And I was like, yeah, because you have 2 sets of old companions, 1 grandchild of 1, sort of Clyde and Ronnie. That's 5, including the Doctor, including the two sort of aliens, and one of the unit members. That's 9 characters in total, including one of the Grassquake, 10 characters. I don't think they needed to add Rory and Amy for sort of like, here's the side characters in that sort of series, because it's just sort of like a tip of the Doctor Who. It's sort of like being like, yeah, this takes place, and having like a fun time with the new Doctor at the time, which was Matt Smith. I love Empty Planet because I like the idea of like, why are we alone? And I love the reason why. It's absolutely interesting. It calls back to an earlier episode, which is really interesting, but it makes a bit of confusing logic to it. I also like The Lost in Time, because it's one of the only episodes that truly deals with time travel on, like, multiple times. You deal with a sort of, like, you deal with a ghost situation, which even back then, I don't know when it takes place. I don't know if I'm just being an idiot. Because, yeah. I also believe that the other time place was in before Mary's execution, which I think was before Bloody Mary. And then the other one was World War II. And the last one was Goodbye, Sarah Jane, which, in my opinion, could be a good cap-off to the entire series. Absolutely, I fully agree with that. But I do like it that it does have a season 5 with the season 5 couple of episodes that it had with it. Even though, in my opinion, I think it is a mixed bag. And because of, like, stuff that happened in the real world, there was probably, I don't know if there was more episodes planned, but I do like it, but it's not as good, season 5. But anyway. So I absolutely love season 4, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. It's really cool and really awesome. So I hope you enjoyed, and good night. Let's open the book in this fairy tale. Or more specifically, let's review this book of a fairy tale with Descendants, The Rise of Red. So yeah, Descendants. I think I know a lot of people have mixed opinions about the Descendants, and some people say because of this, something like, because I'm going to point it out for a logical reason, something like, I think it was Ever After High stopped. Which in my opinion, I know there was rumours about there's going to be more, but I would like to point out what we do have is a perfect ending. Even before, they did like one with like Frost and in the snow. It ended perfectly after like Wonderland. I actually do believe that, and I actually stick by that. But I do agree that a lot of people do say that it wasn't as good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just going to keep it in anyway. I'm not saying it was bad, but I do like Ever After High because I like that. I like that sort of like fun show. And this was the Disney version. And I do agree it does have Disney-ified. But I did like 1, 2, and 3. I did like it because it has a charm. I love the songs. The songs are really fun. And the song's really good. And that is one of the things I absolutely hand on heart was like, this is brilliant. This is great because of this. It is so good and so awesome. I do 100% think it's good. And when I was like, I found this because I think I was trying to see, because there's a couple other things, which is Acolyte, which was coming out during this. I heard it last episode that ended, and Criminal Minds. I absolutely think this is so good. And I do think that this is an interesting movie, where they deal with time travel, and sort of like, actually I'm not going to say that yet, but I do love it. The songs in this I don't think are as good, besides the song, actually again, gonna keep it hush hush, but overall I do think it was so good and so creative. So yeah, one other thing which I think is one thing that I've said before, and I was saying, hitting at the two things that I like. The one thing that I like is one of the songs in this, which is, I think, is like, she does the gardening, and during that, it's about like the idea, and I like the idea that like back then they were different, and like that song alongside the Pink, where they introduce the evil Red Queen being nice and optimistic. I like that concept. I also like the idea of the villains coming in. Yes, it's cheesy. I know there was like a video about it being like, yes, is this cheesy, the most overdone way of doing it? Yes, I know. I agree. I do not care. This is fun. I can have my little fun, dramatized, yes, we're being evil, let's enter in like this. Like, yes, it's fully villainous, like, yes, let's enter in, big stance, rock and roll, we are evil. Yes, it's fully cliche, fully dumb bad, be red dumb bad got the t-shirt, but fully, I don't care. Fully, I embrace it. I'll also like, and this is for the ending, so I'm going to count to 10. If you don't hear it, skip to the next one. Then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They sort of hint that maybe what they did, what the whole story was for, shouldn't have happened. Because it was like, maybe we messed with time too much. And I think, and I'm putting my hand down, that one of the things that they're gonna do in the next, like maybe the next, like, movie, or like the first season of it, they're gonna undo it. Or they're gonna debate about maybe this isn't the best timeline. Maybe right now, something bad's gonna happen. And the only way to undo it is if in the past, where Red's mum was evil, she did something that was good. And what was it, morally grey enough that means it won't be bad. Because it seems like they're hinting towards it. I don't know why. It feels like they're sort of hinting towards that idea of like, maybe it was needed. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe it's like, it's not, but I don't know. Maybe. So yeah. I absolutely believe that this is really good, and I'm really excited of what comes next. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and good night.
Me too. I would like a poll, please. Some reason, I don't want that. Yeah, I just did that because I wanted to do One Piece memories. But I just
Yummy snack for you if you come out. I'm a hamster.
No?
I promise you, it starts with a D. It ends with a nut. Oh, wait.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey,
What?
looks like I don't have to worry about the breadstick thing being embarrassing anymore.
So how do you like to spend your free time? I like to sleep. No, I mean when you're awake. Oh, I don't like that.
What's rule number 1? Party? No, not party. No, it's not party.
So, recently, and I think more specifically Friday, there was a thing with... Let me try and get the channel up. With, I think it's Cheese. That Cheese Bee released part 1 of the trial. And it was really good. It's really good and really detailed. So, I'm going to do one thing. After this specific detail, there'll be a cut. So, come back after it. I'm not going to actually cut it because for reviews, it makes sense. For this, I'm just going to say, in 10 seconds, I'm going to spoil stuff. 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, actually no, I'll wait until a minute. 2, 1. And now the minute mark. So, in the trial, they have narrowed down the search to sort of like the teenage robot, which was from Cartoon Network, and it's a show that I actually might think about watching, but I haven't yet. So, that's not important. And then you have Mabel. Now, my gut feeling, and I am going to say this because realistically, I think they're sort of putting into the facts that it could be Mabel. But I don't think it is. I don't know why. I feel like you get evidence of both ways because the only evidence for majorly being Mabel is she's being a bit outspoken, but so is that teenage robot. Both of them are sort of in the first trial using that. And if I'm correct, in both sort of Danganronpa 1 and Danganronpa sort of 2, one of the evidence was the fact of their talent being used. Yes, there were other, but it was major elements. And maybe I'm overthinking about it, so maybe that, because Mabel's major thing that's making her being a bit suspicious is that the victim used a sweater. Now, there's two things. One, I don't know how easy it is to dye a sweater. It could have been another sweater that was dyed that was big. It also is known to be big and large, which I think one of the things that they might have done, the reason why the blood's on the inside rather than the outside, which is a bit suspicious, is that the jumper was put over the body, which would have hid it, and maybe someone hid below inside the cupboards. So I think maybe that would happen. Who could have done that? I don't know. And when they took it out, the blood was still dripping, so instead of the body being moved, they took the jumper off, the one that was like black that they used to hide, and then hide somewhere else. And then that dripped. Now, the reason why I think it is more specifically of a teenage, like, robot, more specifically, I don't want Mabel to die. Yeah, I know that's why, but besides the actual emotional reasons, there's two things. There's sort of three things. One, like I said, the jacket's big. And yes, like I said, the theoretical idea that they could have hid the body with it is still here. It is still on the table. But it would have been more bigger if it was meant for a bigger person, like. Because if you compare height to height, the teenage robot is a bit bigger than Maple is. and is round about the same height as Star is, so it could still work, and it would be more fitting. The other thing is the text message says, "We were finished early." Now my question is, if I had a text message with a person who was doing nothing, which Mabel wasn't currently doing anything at the time, the question is, doing what? Unless she was doing something. Because I know the two groups split off, and maybe that was the thing that they said, and that could be very true. But it sounds like they're sort of hinting towards, because there was a group doing something, doing the sort of like surgery with Monokuma. And yes, there was a camera, and that Monokuma speech is, "I've kept my eye on him the whole time." But we don't have Monokuma saying the same, so it could have been like, "Oh, I kept my eye on him the whole time. Except when I left him, committed a murder. But besides that, I kept my eye on him at all times." So, yes, it does seem like it's setting up Mabel, because you have the sweater, and that is the most key evidence out of everything. And Danganronpa 1 and Danganronpa 2 seemingly like test their skills compared to like the others. Having more like Ultimate Baseball Player using something as a ball, and the Ultimate Chef using a cooking material to like hide blade. Maybe it's a stretch, maybe not. So that's why Mabel, but I do feel like it could be the teenage robot. So there's my case argument. I love how I say I'm like on trial. I'm not like, here's my case trial, here's the documents. Now do we let them go? Sorry, I've been watching Raw, which is really interesting. Go and watch it on YouTube. But yeah, I'm excited for Trial 2. It's really good. And even Trial 1, I have said this at the beginning, it's really good. The one funny element that I absolutely loved is the fact that Cartman, the notorious liar, took a truth serum. And it's hilarious. Because it's like, why are you being so honest? Oh, that's why. That's why you're being honest. And I love it. Also, I love that I had the mask throughout the time thing. It's funny. I might actually do this more often because this looks unique and I have a unique style with this. I don't know. I have a face anyway, but you know, why not? Why don't I try just doing it with a mask? I might try a couple of videos. I might try one of the lives just dealing with the mask. I don't know. Because you can't hear through it. But besides the point, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you liked, and good night.
We should do some necromancy in the woods together. I think it would be good for us. I think it would be a bonding experience.
How is it that you go about defining good and evil? I'm only using what the gods gave me.
Usually I'll try and do a big intro, try and do it creatively, but this exists. Let's talk about it. So yeah, this story I find a little bit odd. It's fine, it's nice, I'm not gonna lie, but I am gonna say it's one of the shows where it's like, it's good. It's a bit weird, but it's good. Not weird in that way, because the idea of what it is about someone being too light. Maybe it's just me, I'm a pessimist, and I assume the whole world's going to be horrible and mean and evil. Yes, I am assuming that I am looking at people through negatively. Absolutely. I do not see a person and believe that they are a good person when I first meet them. Fully. That is on me. I fully admit that, I fully agree with that, and I fully need to be more optimistic or more realistic. But why, if you don't know someone... Yeah. Is there anything? Yeah, it's in the thing. Why would you let someone who, this thing here says is sort of like a high school girl into your house? I know there's reasons, it's about like learning who you are, not running away from your problems. And there's a lot of parts of the shows which are actually interesting. It's just... But I do get it. With the spoiler side, you do see that he is just a good person. He is a good person. He's like, you know what? You could just stay here for a bit until you get a job. And then they get a job. She gets a part-time job. All this stuff happens. And it's nice. He's a nice guy. He helps his colleagues out. And congratulates them when they are improving their job skills. And it's really interesting. And I love it all. I find it really interesting and just absolutely interesting of how much they do. It's just how it sort of worked around, like, you go into the light and then I find a bit odd. Again, more pessimistic. But again, the whole show's about this girl who had a troubling relationship with her mum because of her BS dad, who put BS things and made her mum a little bit more stressed, which then put it onto her, is fair. It is valid. And I love the fact that she sort of like this thing was like, yes, it's this, and oh shoot, I need to figure out how to get her back. And it's like that type of controlling it. You see that, but you see that it's not out of like, it's not like she wants to be this. It's just, she was with someone that she cared about, and then he, for absolutely insanely toxic reasons. It's really interesting for that area, and it does talk about like how far being nice would be, and it's really interesting. But yeah. So yeah. This show, it feels a bit weird, but it is nice. I know I've been like talking about how weird it is, and some sides I do like, but it is a good show. It is somewhat worth watching. You might need to explain, like, again, in the house, again, pessimist, said it before. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, it is a good show. So I hope you enjoyed, and good night. This is impressive. I'm more comparing myself to the 465, which I'm way over. I'm like 500. Because some of the deaths that are in the 500 are from me trying to complete some of the DLC bosses. And I'm going to be completely honest, doing all of the mainline game and the DLC in 600 and 465 is actually impressive and like really interesting. I don't know like if that's the best ever. Comment if you can do better. If you could do less deaths completing all of Cuphead, including the DLC, in less than 465 deaths. I don't know why that is impressive to me.
Stop it! Oh, I can't do it, well, I guess I'm the end of it.
This match will get red hot. You're up.
I keep running into the bullets.
Good game or
Dip, dodge, dive, dip, dodge, dive, and duck, and dive, dip, dodge.
So yeah, I've recorded this 3 times because I think my iPad's overheating and it's just... But there's some videos that you might see with trailer 1 to trailer 7. Don't worry about them, they're not really important right now. They're just using Unlisted. I was about to use them as my recordings, but then decided that was stupid. So recording actual stuff that I want to record and just using them as unlisted trailers. So don't worry about it. If you want to see them, watch the premiere and they'll be used as trailers. So yeah. Now what's the second rule of Fight Club? I know this is probably stupid, but I just want to do it for fun, so yeah. And also I love this is absolutely funny, so yeah, this is hilarious.
will pass. She'll eventually just burn herself out.
That's what you think! I am an eternal flame, baby!
It's a weird fucking tone, man.
That's just the way he sounds. He has an asshole voice. Joe, tell him he's okay.
Everything is great.
Dude.
You told me you destroyed them because they were weaker than you. So what do you think I'm going to do with you?
So let's get into the swing of things. We're reviewing Rising Impact. Yeah, no, that's the most cheesiest Jag joke I ever came up with. Okay, so this is one of the TikToks that there was a period of time that while I was downloading Crunchyroll, I would download series, which might be coming back because the show's coming on like the 25th and 26th in like tomorrow, or when this is airing today. That's weird to say. Or in 30 minutes today. That's also weird to say. Anyway, it's going to be live. There's going to be a couple of Netflix stuff. But that's besides the point. Not important for this. So when I found this, I was like, I originally drawn it off because I'm like, it's golf. Probably nothing that interesting. I was like, do you know what? Why don't I watch it? It's something weird. It's something insane. Why not? Worst case scenario, it's just fine. Can't be that bad. And the first episode started off with like being like 300 yards. Because, to be clear, a bit of backstory, I don't play golf. But most of my family do play golf. And that's the thing. They play golf, and my mum's somewhat good, and my dad's good. I'm not going to be like, and he's a 1, because I know how handicaps work, and I don't know how, but the only thing I don't know is how, if I say a specific number, you're going to be like, and then this person. So, not going to say that, not important. But I know my dad is fairly good, and my mum is somewhat decently good, because my dad's got a couple of competitions under his belt, and my mum's got, I think, like 2 to 3. That's besides the point, not going to mention any more, or where. And then like, and then this golf course, insert name here. No. Again, that just links my location, and I don't want that. So, I used to play golf when I was a kid, so I do know the basic rules. And I do know golf etiquette because I've been a caddy. Caddy is, they don't explain it in the show, and I don't know if they will or won't, but caddy is basically someone who takes the bag for you, and at my level, I would basically just carry a bag, take it around, and usually just go around, which is like a bit of weight to it, or you using one of the trolleys, which I don't like. Because if I'm going there to caddy, I might as well carry it. It's fun. Besides the point. This show shows how interesting golf can be. It's not going to go around being like, and now I'm going to play golf again. No. But it shows certain intriguing things about it. Like how you hit, how it strikes, and how it goes off. That is fun. That is interesting. There's a certain shots of like the swings. And the one thing I find, actually no, I'm going to keep up for the second one. But when you see the certain things come up, it's interesting, and definitely someone who knows a bit about golf. There's a lot of sports animes I'm like, I don't know about. And because I feel like I know at least somewhat, I know the broad strokes, I know enough about it. Because a lot of people like have basketball, but I only know is go to that end and score, and the scoring zones. Besides that, I know nothing. And then there's a couple other anime sports. I think there's one about football. Blue Lock. And I know shoot, score. I don't know the tactics. I don't know this, that, the other. But with golf, I know a bit more. Because, again, as a person who tries to caddy, I feel like I should know a bit about it. So, like, knowing something that, like, yeah, I've seen that before. Oh, that's interesting. And then I actually went around my family being like, yeah, what's the biggest? Also, turns out, like, I think 170 for women is the average for driver hits, because they talk about like 300 and they say like 225 yards is the average for males. Fun fact. But yeah, so The one thing I liked, and I don't know if it's actually possible because I'm not going to go to a golf person and be like, can you take a golf swing with an umbrella? Because I feel like I will be thought as insane. Like it has in the episode and this whole thing, and it's like really interesting. So if you see this specific part and you can do it, Stitch, please, I would love you to like see if that is actually possible. The other thing I like, and the one thing I'm thinking is going into, is because when you go into it, you have the sort of like 10 golden golf clubs. You have a person named Lancer. You have the academy, which I think is like the round table of like the golf school. And then you have the person running it being Merlin. My guess there's going to be other members. Or, I don't even know if there is. Legitimately. Hand on heart. Like, all I know, Lancer, Arthur, Merlin. And I haven't heard Arthur's name unless I'm a dumbass. Again, my thing, I should probably be more positive myself that rather than less. Anyway, but I don't know if any other, like, traditional King Arthur character names have been said. So, that could be fully true. And fully interesting. Because, like, it's somehow, for some reason, doing the King Arthur and, like, that legend, which is really interesting. And doing it with this. And I don't have a problem with it. I just find it fascinating. Because I haven't seen, like old-fashioned English King Arthur tales with like a sports. Because, like, you wouldn't think it was, but somehow it just makes it, like, really interesting. Also, I love, there's a story about Lance's sister who sort of is about to lose her eyes and then comes back. And that's, like, for someone who's actually got a problem with my eye, because my cornea is a bit... and I can't really see clearly. Like, if I see with both eyes, this text up here is rising impact. But with this, I can't read that. You might think that's insane. It's right here, which is, like, not that far away from my face. Like, look. This is how far it is from my face. It's not that far. And I can't read this. It's insane. I think it's like a cornea thing, whereas, like, the cornea should be this, but this. So someone being, like, taking a risk where, like, it could go badly with their eyesight and be like, it worked. That's, like, I was like, oh, that's so appreciated. Again, I don't know why this is important, but I just want to mention it. But yeah. So yeah. This is really good and just really entertaining. And I absolutely recommend for you to watch this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and good night.
I'm going to double check that plan. Let's see if that actually works, because that is efficient. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and good night. And yeah, this doesn't have a beginning, but neither does it also have an ending, so good night. Okay, so hopefully it didn't cut too much out, but my Wi-Fi just crashed for insane reasons. Last slice.
Ask a friend which color you are.
Oh my God, baby, baby, don't you see? I got everything you need.
Lift your hand, just like so. Move it around and say, "Fuck off." having a neural implosion. I need...
What do you need?
I need...
Just say it. Tell me.
Painkillers.
Painkillers.
I need...
Do you need aspirin? Codeine? Paracetamol? Oh, I don't know. Pepto-Bismol?
I need...
Lipoparaffin? Vitamin C? Vitamin D? Vitamin E?
I need...
Is it food? Something simple. Bowl of soup. Nice bowl of soup. Soup in a sandwich. Oh, soup in a little ham sandwich.
I need you to shut up.
Oh, I guess I changed that much.
The ball is the first game ever being invented. Stone Age man. He picked up ein Wok. He said, "Oh, das ist ein Ball." He thrown it and he killed a man. He said, "Oh, what fun." And now everybody loves the balls. Until they hear 5 billion. Then the very last human picks up the skull of his enemy and said, "That is the final ball of all." Yeah.
Enough.
Ah, Honolulu. I wondered which one of you had the balls.
Okay. So you know my name? How do you two know each other?
Don't I go back to the TARDIS? Go back to the TARDIS.
You never tell me to do that.
Oh, but he is recognizing me. Are you not?
Time to go and explode in. Yes. To this review. Because we're talking about exploding kittens. Yay. Okay. Obvious thing. I've played, and if I'm correct, it's one of the way too many games. Wait, let's see if I've got it before I say anything. Found it! I have got Exploding Cats, which I don't know how much actively this is based off the game, but you know, it's called Exploding Cats. I don't know if it's based off the Guard game, which is also called Exploding Cats. Because the game here is a lot more darker, or if it's just using similar characters. Because I don't know if some of the characters are the same, because these are the art forms of Exploding Cats. So I don't know if which is why I wanted to watch it, because you get all of these different types of cats, like this. So I don't know if it is, or if it is just I'm thinking to be. Because at first I'm like, oh, they're going to do anything. So, I don't know if it did. That was purpose or anything. But I watched this because, like I've shown before, I have the game. So why not? The one thing which I didn't know, and you can kind of tell GC, and it's probably in the blurb, but the one thing which I love is that this is essentially a story about guarding the devils as cats. And as the story goes on, the devil is just cool and awesome. And the one thing I love, at the very end, at the very final moments, you essentially have a child between God and the devil. Which is essentially not the original devil, but the original, probably the original, or not, I don't know how many generations it's been, daughter. But it's really interesting, really fun, and I just like it because of the insanity. There's so many moments where I was like, oh man, this is insane, this is insane. It's so cool, so awesome, and just so amazing. So yeah, this is so cool. It's one of the shows I absolutely love. I think it's really interesting, and I absolutely would 100% recommend for you to watch this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and good night.
Thank you. Prove it.
Stop. We're doing another. Okay, don't know what that happens there. No, that's not the one I want. Video. Delete. Yes. Add. Yeah. I'm going to be recording. But while I do that, actually, just gonna do this. You don't need to see it. I'm going to be editing the last string.
Deep fried Oreos from 2001.
Oh,
now, is this an old recipe? Well, it depends on who you ask. But it is absurd, vulgar, and without regard for culinary decorum. It's American. Our batter begins with 1 cup of pancake mix. Get out of the cup. Come on. Stop being difficult. Half a cup of milk. Moo juice. Tablespoon of vegetable oil. And 1 egg. Whisk vigorously. Is my clock dead? It is now. Next up, we fill a pot about 4 inches deep with oil. Fire! Now our oil is hot, so we just dip in our Oreos. Woo! And in they go. About 3 minutes on each side. This is so ridiculous. Woo! Oh, man.
Looks so good.
These are incredible. I mean, look at that. You're insane, but I love you. I'm a changed man. Absolutely wild.
Now this is fun. You can't really see me, but I'm gonna type my name in and Google or whatever this is gonna tell me what it means. So go on.
I think I have tried doing the free spins, and I do know there's like if you reset, I don't think it counts because I've reset a lot of times and it seems a lot less. So I don't know if it counts resets, and it is a good guide. And I've died. A couple of my deaths I have died aren't live yet because again I premiere some stuff in advance. I've got a Pacific Contract that hasn't been made live yet and won't be made live until like 3 Fridays from now. No, 3 Mondays from now. So it's like weird. But yeah, I'm trying to save the Jimmy Free Wishes until like the Carl fight because I know that's a pain to deal with, and trying to affect that it will just give me nightmares. Not just A ranking, just because I'm maybe thinking about doing S ranking, which is Carl on S rank.
Know that if you put your faith in me, I will always. Did you just lick my hand?
No.
Okay, don't do it again. With you, stop.
It's the final brain cell.
Quick survival tip for anybody who finds himself in this situation. Canines and up, it's a love bite. Canines and back, they're eating you.
Here, under the moonlight. Yes, ignore the fact that this is... See, this is actually string. A bowl of string. Under the moonlight, we'll talk about this moonlight show. So having that being a bit, strung along, let's continue. I like this show because this is just a fun show that has, like, cool moments, cool series, and it's, like, strong, and it's just fun. There's a lot of stuff that, like, I like specific things, and some shows are just fun for fun. I usually don't do spoilers for this. It's the same, it's with, sort of a Taskmaster. I don't do opener ending, because again, that's just fun for fun. I don't need to explain. But the reason why I'm still going to do opener, spoilers, and this, is because the one thing that I want to say is in the spoilers. But for now, the one thing I like is the fact that on the game, I got all the characters on it, which they've got a crossover with that. And I love the fact that the first time they started it was during the beginning of season 2. I don't know if that's relevant, but it's fun. And then they took a break, and then when we came back, they sort of did it again. I don't know why, it's fun. Besides the point, this is really good. I love the series, I love the characters, and yeah. So the only point that I want to talk about is, does it seem like, I don't know if they're going to do it, and I'm reading it, it seems like they might do a thing where it's like, and then she slowly figures out the truth. I don't know why, maybe I'm overthinking it, maybe I'm analyzing, I don't know. But there's a new character, one of the heroes is his classmate. And I feel like she might know, and I feel like that would be interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. Besides the point, again, it was just a small point, but it's just something I just wanted to mention quickly. So yeah, I love the show, it's really exciting, and I really would recommend definitely season 2. Season 2 is really good, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and good night.
Pain in the ass.
A brawl is surely brewing. Here goes.
I'm going to be making TikToks. It is very late. It's basically past midnight. So that means you're going to get 2 on these sides because I'm going to miss that part.
I'm extremely confused. You're confused? I'm fucking confused, bro.
So yeah, again, review. Even though it's a Saturday and a small one, it's Taskmaster! Which I've said before, and I'll say it again. It's been a while because I've been like going between Crunchyroll and Netflix and haven't been time to like catch up with this. But again, watch it. It's hilarious. It's really good. And it's really exciting. So yeah. And I think this is, they say in like season 10, I'm not going to talk much about it, but they moved to a new sort of Channel 4, which I don't know who they used beforehand, but they moved to Channel 4 after this season. So I don't know who they were by then, but this is the last season of the one that they were on their old network. But again, this is really good, really exciting, 100%. I don't need to go like full detail because 1, how? 2, this is just so good. Just go and watch it. I can't explain it any better than it's hilarious. All of it is. Go and watch it. Oh yeah. And now we got this. Actually, I think I might try and shorten it because it doesn't. It's not that bad, and it's that. So that now has my Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Patreon on it. Again, I'm just trying to make, maybe like there's a better way to do this. This is meant to be like a YouTube banner. I've cropped it a bit. This is actually on my YouTube banner. For a banner that's actually, it's really good. And I really like it. Okay, so that's... If anyone has any strategies, please put it in the comments. That would be good. I think through all your battles and all my wrongs, you have felt courage. I'm improving. I'm getting.
Halt! In order to pass through the gates, you must solve a riddle. One of us speaks nothing but the truth, the other nothing but lies.
I remember reading about this. It's in my books. Let's see here. All we have to do is... With all due respect, Wizard, I think I got this one. Wait, how? You don't know the story. You don't even read. What are you going to do? Well, for starters, I would like to rage. You should run. What? The fuck? So, tell me, is he dead? No. This one's the liar.
Let's head into a brand new world of this. Yeah, that was a bit bad one, and I probably need to improve. So yeah, let's jump in. So yeah, the one thing I do know, I know there's a group of people who have been finding this mixed, like, that haven't liked it. I like it. I do. Because I like the idea that Jedi... Because we have this idea of, like, okay, before the Jedi, there was the, like, middle path where you did a bit of both. It was sort of like you had this sort of like this, and then you went dark light, and then mixed in between. You had this, like, grey path. But for the most part, like, sort of Kingdom Hearts, it's like, besides modern versions, the past sort of shows it as the light was good, and you didn't really see in, like, besides, like, what is, I think, maybe non-canon or canon, I don't know. I know there's a whole thing about it, and I'm not going to get into it, but, like, through, like, the Clone Wars, the trios, besides, you know, bureaucrats being bureaucrats, you didn't get, like, the Jedi were, like, bad. But here's a group of, like, Jedi way into the past who are doing really mysterious and kind of, like, what's going on type of energy. And obviously, one of the major things in this is that we have a fall to darkness. And I like this because you have someone who is actively lied to you your entire life. So obviously, how else are you meant to feel? So I absolutely love it because of that. Because of that level of, like, because it was absolutely... Also, there's a theory going around that, like, oh no, if this would have happened, they would have fused together. And legitimately, I am not actually joking, I would have put my money on before the end, like, maybe that's going to be a thing, like, sort of like, one can live with the other, or, like, they fuse together and become one again. I don't know. I sort of like it, though. It's really interesting. So, yeah. So, this is a really good show, and it's absolutely 100% worth watching. So, I hope you enjoyed, and good night.